First goods.
That's it now.
Yes, I do so bad. Anyway, all right. So don't mamoti enka Mekai was chairman general, NDC national chairman. Ababeka Yensa ewo hasi na ne enkomodino bebre general akwaba
ya nua
afisha paso
nyame ma fe pan comment
ami yeshia yesi yemi di nkomo unim say general e nkrofo say em say me da sori am free ufie straight no ma ban fi abeda wo ho na wo yafre kwabna ni ya ka kire general say oh, what are you to crack? I say, General, say, na, and I'm saying, hey, na me am General Crani. Na the no General, tell us. So, how do you manage?
Well, so could do Bunukra Mutiasam. And also the Abre.
Also the Abre. So, how do you manage? How do you manage?
Oh, I do the best I can. They have been to me, Makoda, by tough. Phone calls. Ufie. Obe sorry, I no pana ufie ayema. Na office ayema. Babia na ho ayema. Enti no oye hakakra. Na move akọ another place kra. Omo uja omo ho no, omo feel disappointed say one tra ho the whole day. Oko new places so and also na omoso kasewa na wa me abetra ha na o mantem ne ade but we try to explain say adeno nyame kwa na 24 hours obetimi di bi aka ho ye nipa de ntimi fa bi nka ho didi ahode no betimi aye no ye na yanya butre so acheche amanfo mu se de be ya
ya no mo tiase
o bebre tiase because e bi kura ba no hu se be our best run pa 5:30 unyare unidi now to ho receive nipa kobobe se 8-9 ono zo didi ni fiansa no oba
akaze wudi obedi
na nyumre so kra no na say yes vetting of NMDCEC adwin say ye pese yetimi wie the whole country na President Mahama timide kan ye they say 120 day achievement no ho na nipa bebre susu say nipa bebre ye bombeda is interviews where nipa 3 times 261 and a be also appeal back can hone be 4 be 5 be say and no more than 700 people are a be better committee no nim na why assessment interview na enye better tu be sorry no na ofie so ayema almost aba say ye ba be kire the reason why they must be chosen or asumasi must be chosen. Utra ubufa omoso a ezi omba e wabu afa omoso utra hwa so se ubeti wo mo eche se interview no a wo mo pese wo mo influence no kra intimi nkoso enti eche se utra se who receive wo mo a di enti a mo ba e no kra no emfaso obi amam enti cheche mu kakra na
chairman so being a chairman in opposition and being a chairman in government at say
difference kasiye bia nim sa in terms of ubiza obe no the difference kasiye nim but issues no a ye de bra no na differ but da bia
dey differ
say opposition kwaye be fa so wini aba ane the man for here say for what is say NPP for akoye we wa ha ya suma fidie we wa ha ya pese kum nipa we say de be ya ntimi win election o money we those are the issues and now we are by munso a and also ejuma manfo pe wo mo a ebianya a big green paper. Alandina a bidia nyama any and daddy. Maybe I'm to say I'm more boy a cheese. Never be having quit there. We cobra Saint Jam.
Why, yeah. We are up to two collaborate. Sometimes you say a man for complaining, say, oh, more position, you know, I've heard there, we need power and 2 Monkabio. I didn't man Sadi and Eba.
Well, I won't say, yeah, we need dear. A biba kwa by mo. I buy a nipano woman. I want nemra any restrictions to the access near the other. Now, any party level with the by more nearby more. The same access here available.
Okay.
It's out to my say. Except to the beer, me on say, when you mark, I say, me use phone lines me, no.
David.
Back on pay. Obia sunim the whole world. Entino, oh, friend, Antimia man, only so near be a line or so. That's all. Enti better than say ube use lines no bebre ebrebina me chairman pofo na yeji ho anchinye sa me say chairman me use line back ho odo so eto da bi otumi use lines be say 4 enti we friend na oti we na we friend na oti we na me say chairman how na problem I pese o pese solve no. And no cries multiple lines, no cry, never more
problems more.
Because O Casaba Consua 3 year ring ya Ntim Fordjour, because I for a while. So, if I only never can say for a while. Entino, and now, oh, Hona, we ring only way Casaka can why he will not what pick it, no, why he will not pick it, no, who and more intimidate. Befa line back on pay.
Oh, friend, I engaged that.
I engaged you on so near been also.
Hey, my offer, you who's what me,
and you know, at best, no, Obi be free, I be go through, no, now I can say, Mena Nano me free, Amano. Meanwhile, person media dance here say, oh, now, friend me, Ama. Also, Ama, me, who say, Wafre. And the other never say me this out dance here.
I dear man, who also say, oh, friend now, no.
Man.
It's be better, say,
when I don't bow, fear, Mamma Tono.
I see.
You are met to me, who say, what but fear. And my dad is others.
But, Chairman, say, Minim say what ba bem ko opposition aba and whether NDC MPP processes no any different bia enya nipa bako say mu wi ni election ya na mu yi appointees mo orientation about how to deal with party supporters or foot soldiers or orientation na kan ho
na timing of orientation no ya na ejina transitional issues so ewo ho.
Okay.
On say ye dey President Mahama second coming transitional issues atem no amam for papa no handi over omo planning coup d'etat ne ma basa enunti no enna yenso ya committee ye ho say first 120 days no nema bi ho asi achieve enna yenso no appointment ya ye de be set up abai no eno nso ye man deadline say within this time ne set government ya wi enti ugusu ye sa ne man na wumie ya eye difficult say obenya time na odi appointees ya call orientation so enye ade baako because one day untimi mfa nye sa ne man no nyina eno nti no every day animti we will get to that.
Oh, okay.
And we will get to that.
Okay. So ayana mamu ya kendi for na nyam nwanwa say ye yibinu mabon issues bi o muka say bi mfiti ase na bibi na niema ebobobom kakaka ya na nyam nwanwa.
O dabi na se usua na nkwasi dia yensua no famu ise wuku aboa no bi na
odi ahese di esi kunu
odi ahese di esi dwa aboa so ndo ka se akofa
ubeye bucha
akofa sika se ubedwadua bi e de asua se de esi edwa aboa enye yi ise aboa no bi na ndebe entino beginning no be appointing nipa no onye minister da so enunti experience no on the job no na obesua nti me da am face ye appointees ya mo freedom to make a few mistakes na wo mo correct wo mo home through experience na yen so aye mental wo mo no so yeso ye ma wo mo guidance nti enche nema betotom nti ze appointees no bia aye from so at this stage a learning process
ma me muso asemwe enke bia nka ho but mebusa so me boss Zuba ni statement on me beto okwam a mehwem mafa boys a ya train o mo se militia for mehwem what you tape no it will say minu se Zuba yoba
da be mintie
make
you say me call ye call feed Ghana lunch no na me to asoko mafom ti me free mafom na ba direct
we are lucky
enti nema na me ba na me ti say radio bi bo except kakra bi nam na de but ya na me pese e bia asema obi aka no 1 hour 30 minutes now but 3 minutes mama say me nyina so nya assessment ya difficult to get the general the agent so context no agent so or kasa they are very difficult to do that but also me peta montie say me tie na from so mo say la o ma para me na be kasa na ni nyina kwankyere nkakra nema betutom kumase so nyemre o
enya bete kumase nya bete kura se kura dem se enkrofo no ma game na ye din pa wo ho
ebe bete
ebe boko
edu tamwa ebe twese ka no ye twetwetire no obia be akofa ni lai
obia be di levu
the
grand tank no be di chairman ye ba be di nkomo mienu enkomo mienu ye NDC 99 days in office and then 99 days
yes
or try 100 I got 21 days na more complete 120 amafo din komo ebinum say ase ade no ase the NDC adi be 4-5 years wa akonya so no ebi say no ase enema papa na kwhyew metie Professor Adai or say ohunu any president or a party in power in the first 100 days enema moye 99 days in government. Your assessment as the national chairman.
You medasi on say your time I dey 120 days you know. E bedru hama president na nkasa be addressing nation. Na yafa enema ye lay no down say any social contract between ye and Ghana for no. Afa no mako ne how we have delivered on them. Entiana me pese me preempt nema bebresa but just some few highlights no who say ye wo nema bia ye sheda ye nam campaign mu na ye kan ye be we no bebre wo ha da di amama hu first ni say ka say ye be e-levy afri ho say no abam obia hu
yeah
and yes I can very importantly say yenim so man no how no bebre sika ese ye di kodo afu no ya na ye di aya akonhoma sika na ye di akoto na ntwinama anu adi enti no ye pese yenya sika ya afu no gina na daache ye benya so mfaso a ene yɛni nsesawa na afuo no bɛgyina na kokoo no ba ɛdeɛ wopɛ sɛ woyi nantwie da korɔkora
utimiwe
ɛno nti the cost of running the nation no ayɛ overheads no ɛyɛ bigger than investment sika a wode bɛyɛ mpontodwuma nti yɛba yɛbɛbɔ mmɔden sɛ cost of running the nation no yɛbɛte so hwi na sika no bi atumi aka ne apushi into investment ɛno nti adeɛ baako a for 8 years ni a Nana do power da biara na meka moyɛ me interview ha meka okay from meka ba biara meka me say ministers no ɛnyɛ biara yɛkɔtɔn bi ana
ai nwanwa
say aban betrans appointing 125 to 30 ministers yɛbɛtɔn bi Britain wɔn ministers yɛsɛ America Great America wɔn ministers yɛsɛ na Ghana kitikiti we yɛbɛ appointing 125 ministers enti yɛayɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ sɛ bi a obi akɔta maban sika di nko a ne sɛ wɔman sika o sɛ ubu minister bia ɛka ɔman bonus ho no now they check it number of ministers ya uhunu sika ye wasting no ɔman mu nti ɛka sɛ first thing yɛbɛ ministers yɛ ma ne mmoro 60
okay
yɛayɛ yɛwuni wie no ɛkokɔ meetings party meetings ne and oh 5 bi de bro so a na ɛnyɛ 5 bi de bro so a ɛno de nsai we can explain there's Mahama say half kura emro so
but a man for say wiemo ewo inside
oh yeah
muntimi nka no abonte be wiemo
no life no choices you can't eat your cake and have it. Life will be made up of difficult choices. Enti no, choose we ya. Now him say we so ebeha sana abrabotie. On say me te ha me ncheche o. Ujafu cheche. Enti no, ono ode ne che no kire na me so me di miti kire.
Teacher cheche.
Na o ka say hwe miti na hwe me che.
Possible.
Yentimi hu tri no wa.
Showuti.
Na sai hwe me che. Enti no, o fa za o de eche no kira no ahye che. O fa se ye hu ti so anu ayi che no. Enti o be hu ba ko.
Showuti show se.
Enti no choice ya o be make. Enti ana o ye president, they say President Mahama ti wo yi. Na se mu nyina me ka se mu complaining enya green paper wo ma to egu wo ma yesi na nka me ba nei me ba MC Bobbie president say me ma minister for this o green letter ni o so die ni o so die say ka ha ne ha ya de money baji o yeah but at the end of the day adwuma mo ya mo na da bia betra ha chokro de mo pene se o man no be ye inti se the appointments no brebrem na ne net effect in future ne say o man ne sika no yentimi nya bi mfa nye mpuntudwuma na abana nim gu asia oso out here who defend the abana so anim gu asibi
but am for say na munim say ebeye 188 seats MP sa enka mo anka system no
ade na ya kan say parliament ngwan na yi ministers ya na NDC for no ya dodo e wo party mu no a ya ne na ewo ebi na akoye ministers ba bibi anche say wunye minister wunye MP a yentimi nchusu enti obi ka say majority nunti no ye ho a oboa wo mo ma parliament na wo mo nya NDC for
no mo ye
anti nka wo de wo mo ye minister so a enye ya na
but you know so e create acrimony within the system manya bi. For example, now people are asking about obi to say founder Eba Zaneto. Amanfo busa et say wa unia epeni onyan baby crawl Professor Mills, Neba Kofi Mills. So, but Asa say CEOs are so all these things, at the end of the 4 years, no, it creates apathy for the party.
I don't know if I do no yes any over point more. Aba be a dear could run Inti rather no say the year no it must can be a Canadian more investment here. Oh, honey, are you minister? Ye new minister, na economy no, emugono kakra. Say, maybe I'll be a home for so did say appointing minister or appointing minister. Wabrabu Mumbe Guamo. Na enone se bia, yebemo be a minister. Na scanu in idea to a minister foka. Now call office ya yes canu bin topic pakrana minister or the actual so a juma. Na economy no ebegu. I can't say the tea. Na fi wa ukuta scanu kurano. Ohunto the ahiano no so hunto no me yande ye feel say even minister for do e betima your man no ye na ye ne ayaka no ye nye ministers na say o man no koso na economy no paja na ba bia wo bia bibia o de nsa beka bia mfa so betimi aba mu na wa wanya hom usika agu botomu a eno ye better than say ya betwere obi adin se oye minister na mom oman no sika sembegu kura yentimi emfiri babia yewe by choices tembia no o kase you eat your cake and have it ya enye ye nti obeye we ya hwe hu se we e behwere but the o kono e ho mfa so no ye bigger than this until you must be prepared say Queen de ube contain ube many na wakoye the other one.
When you hear party members complaining, how do you feel?
Oh, we speak to them.
An intribi party for the end of the an intribi and community say, oh, we share Moya Buapa. Nabi Omonti won church mu. Now what is a for no complaint and answer national chairman any probably new dim komo. Yeah, how do you feel?
Kasachene Kasamaro say yana ye conflict between individual interests and state interests.
Okay.
And you be a netmi manage sadiano. Say bia me individual interest in it. Say me sacrifice ya e bia in the end e beboa national interest bia ma e bia san be affect me. You bia na what sa atwa honhom no. Automacy. And untino, Edani Quemu say a man for ebe complaining. But Yene Empanim for so who complain and I so Yanyaka Sachre. Actually, because said the okay. Nipana Edipus to Swamano. Or no so Chana Ninu who Nipado doa Eguho. I be anke bit me this apples in a man near him or you no quano. Na ede asudi amano say so ye no ye no ye
no so ahwe ne ho so ye
no ahwe ne ho so ye because uni ho obi beba
okay
nti no so ye caution to them say
okay
obi anya indispensable nti uni ho obi beba onkwa ya pick wa dodo no e complain manya bi nti wo a wanya no sese ohwe no ye say de o ye no ebeboa o man no amoa o man no a Pese Mahama fan se kaya so beba so enye no se Akufo-Addo de no se obi di boni a se wontra ho na onto asunni na uyi no a party mu beche ye de no de masa
ofa eye niema no waka eye cabinet ministers within 14 days lean government national economic dialogue mokaye moye e-levy betting emission tax education dialogue no academic fees for first year tertiary students 1 million coders program Tree for Life and Blue Water Initiative which is ongoing SOEs shake up on loss making free sanitary pads Women's Development Bank more allocated and funds allocated for Mahama care program, you know, so more. But
Feed Ghana so ya launch it.
Feed Ghana so launch it. Yeah, feed Ghana so launch it. But enkomo ni nye no enkomo ba ko bi wom e ya nkrofo e ho no mo interest wo. Oral.
Yeah.
When you tell people say me deliver oral, how can the ordinary person no bet say ampa and this year deliver oral in their first 100 or first 120 days?
That be oral de nyan deliver.
I didn't want to deliver.
Need to say operation recover or loot. Loot we are no saying the about on my foot but nema no ebi ade a low hanging fruit a obekwa akote ebi so ye ade a obekọ through a long process and sana resource number enti committee a yete ma omgada information kakra nya no ne delivery of oral no.
Okay,
so yesi amanfo awia oman sika ye ba ye begigi ni nyina so tie ma sem kura kuma se ameka se udi aban kafre obefi wan fi kura ye besaw
oh chema
se adura chira se o soro adia na ofi na adura chira jisi esaw bentua enti se adi bentua saw so do ko so enti ora no the committee na just preparatory say obia wo information be about loot no na dia mon famre and now ma gather that information dia fe na ye process ne abehwe institutional framework ya e be deliver recovery enya ma institutional framework ya so me ka say ohwe ye manifesto no a ye ka say institutional reset and also because abaya atwamu no na state institutions no bebre are compromising. Anti cleaning up state institutions no a delicate issue. And now why nye if you get it wrong, a very creative problem. And anti institutional framework here, ye bet me agents to deliver ora no a be live by its name. Operation recover or loot no and no
but chema minim say waso form many politicians be sign kakra and oni mi say oba mene motena yeso ache TNDC mu de minim kra na minim say de obi asi emove fa sir waso form pa what is a Moncroft no complain say when it comes to the oral more slow.
Meti nyina meti even one more this can crasi intiminya omohwe and also meti nyina
omo na die no
omo ayen suspect say omo die no kra omo say omo die intiminya omohwe
so atwa 4 months or 4 months obi anya ne hwe
never so
but am for you say go slow.
The be ya de no need this so o ye dan na one see foundation year untimi moso ena enso no ye nya de a ye ya de aginsambo keke ye ya de a ehun resource beba na manfo ahun na resource no so eye sustainable lasting na Oko kasi recover university chani announce we asi mumfa no ko gina court or court abuso me mensa esi yaja no eno no na oko ya na say obai eno ti ese o hwe na ye ne other countries no uhun say bibi saba omo ye nhihye bebre ebi kura ye ma opportunity for plea bargaining so say massa evidence ni why you say opa brabeka no kure wom o refund there ye beti wa yi so twen so na wo bebie kwai ma ye hunu unu anoma o mo so aye bia o mo the door switch I would no cry the home better on the akoji and no swab account. Those are things here. As I say, trans in a think it through near this structure. A base I didn't know Ediba. So that's South Africa 4 years, they say Commission on State Capture nominating the manema. So we are still considering how best to approach this things.
But it comes back to this issue I mentioned here, cleaning up state institutions. Yeah, because always we are on social media. Until you follow NDC social media, langas no. You follow up. Ube normal koye institution we MPP need the so MPP need the so ha. Idea who teacher now who study NDC social media for now and NDC grassroots now. As a tete woman, and I know so what to be. So when you talk about institutional clean up, then I ask myself, how? Mobile cleaning up.
Clean up no interest. MPP for not replace woman with NDC for necessarily. Ebi adwene no. Said the MPP for buy ya. Ombe swipu NDC ni bia onye bone kura wo ye wadwuma ye kura etimi yi oni akofa MPP ni a onhunu adwuma na ni so kura na de na betra ho no. That is not what we are about to do. Then the minor interest and I yesum. Enti se nipa wo ho no adi bone nko a de a ne bone no be catch up on him.
So chairman, what you are saying meaning say NDC supporters NTS say e bet me abase obi bet me obi MPP ni obetna ne position ya kopem say bia say de wo kan be pan hontoma me hu say anase so and I say no the fact cry say President Mahama Tiwe say obetimi 1 day or 2 days or 1 month obetimi anya glass bia hwemu hu say MPP fo a ewo state institutions munyira ni mayi wo modi na wasantimi anya NDC for competent people are replacing womo said it's not going to work and also kra se sana oye no say whether obi or oye no you obi or onye no you yen sweep wo munyira me dey will be some advice here main advice no sir. I see. Why?
Because abayan adwuma no ana oman adwuma no de nyina ye hwe ye meritocracy. Why the betimi aye adwuma no wone kwan so me matena bai mo pen na abai foforo bai the way amufa so sweep ye nyina did the same paint paint ye nyina say wanya ye adwuma wo President Rollins abai no mu de a na wo ye krofo no amwa o man no na MPP for abai so kra amwa wo mo.
Okay.
Into as a country no as I say yetimi learning lessons from the past because we be say from experience I mean me farm no you say tama me the minister me imagine say oman adwuma atu ho adwuma na me ye enti bia mamfa mensa nka aban kapre until say President Rollins ibewu na ultimate number be kase the minister for in terms of integrity and their obeti vouch woman no bomidin no asan bo matia midudin.
I see.
So yeah no revolution no baby e call no as I say udi bonia untimena. So me principle I don't do wrong things knowingly. Me perfect. Me a human being me bonene and the adina say my trans ya bopo say me ko bopo we nam dia ko wia we anama ko ye we in there nyamia. South Mase. Enti say munyina mu fa musa na ebinom so anyeska. Ebi sabio awiaska. na mu free aban mu na ye the same brush brush mu se mu nyina mo ya kromfo na de watimi afa kwa moni so anya sika no ono ko ni krom a ye so no soro watimi anya sika wa ye sei wa we mamba opposition no kura no onya na konma sika di onya bibia na wa ode belt abo yam se o so moman no wamfa aban bibia waye wadwuma kroje awie na da mu nyina mu be free aban mu no ne aka mu abom se mu nyina mu ya akromfo a ugidi se next time unya opportunity ba aban mu a na omu wia de a wo betre ho aka se me de me nwia bi
obewia bi me wia o
ya be ka se wo wia ya be ka se wo akromfo enti se si ano Munianum Furiatanum any woman ede ada DPF a manfo ahu se we de we de who can say one nimpas ni ade enti jampa e betimi amba se MPP aban no ni papa ba akonkura nim
enya possible enti obi asomoman no e woni kwan so enti ka o munyina bom se o munyina na wiaska next time if free so now moba the one I mean so ba mu a o wiaska no kwa obi wi bi because we are the same brass and to fight corruption no eto da bia nema bi wo ha se ohun se bisipa eni kunira haban etase no banyansafo so enti grassroots omujiri se President Akufo-Addo ne dom ebe injected so much pain into the system for the past 8 years. And the only way out, they say, they want to see NDC punishing them same. Yeah, you know ne bema wo mabutoyemo. Na next time, so be your opportunity no wanye di omo ye any biu, knowing that karma is waiting.
So see wo mom punish ade bonyefo. Na apapa mienu miensan bi ewum no mo pese ye de wo mo fra de bonyefo no nyina punish wo mo. Next time say wo mo aban ba bi mu a ugiri say obi betwe ne ho say ye di bone a wonni bi. Because say wanye odi bi o ani bi o ye ba asofia no ye de be ma mu nyina. Enu nti na me ka say wo mo nya botre na ye nsam ne enhwe de wodi dwirim ene de wanye bibia. Wa wuni dwirim wanye bibia no sa ba so bo na ese ye de bon na enchirima disua bibi se oba na the whole system ye corrupt kra na onko utimi esi nkete gina mu a uwia oman no bebo wabaso na de wadi bone no so ye betwe na so eche se aye kama eda ho na kama na homo kan no nyese bia you do me I do you eyo man mra ene edi be ye adwuma nyese bia obi aye bibia ma ahame enti waye bone onye bone o yeso yenko twena so yenhwe we have a sufficient number of persons here woman lutu o man no
yeah
enti ada na uja wo mo ho na ukodi vengeance bi achi so
but
spend the time no on woman di boni aha o man ebe ha nchirima na punish womo na enyese bia we ye me say ntimi so me koye no bia tuaka. So there's a slight difference in that.
But argument they say grassroots no enya adwuma nye. Then you have a bia be port. Omo a boys are MPP for boys some do ye adwuma no. Omo na de so ho. Say a bia enya institutional head simple. Say they okay say obi ye institutional head. Na oye good. On Friday and Sanko can obisika. Yes, agreed. But what about a year choboy for no? Say be a port as my mekai, be attack at the port. Any other places are a year many jobs. A yanka NDC Mrantia Sufi say, on by number Pamian in front of the boys beguo. A year day and idea. woman go on here them a bosome na yede so tifie yeah you so unya sa kind of complaints we are
unya say o stress menya sa complaints unya but da bia de me kan kire wo mun say ye mfiti preko mpoyese u fiti preko pause amoja beba say ye ba ye ne na so say obia wa ba enjuma mu bia nkofia yenya enough time and space say yedi be hihye edi ndc fo ahihye ba bia enti a process enti omunya botre
okay
omunya botre de udua ayu ene esre ebomu a otwa bre no bedru obehu papa ewom de omunya botre na eha ekwan ho
higher crime. With General Casas, higher crime. But this issue about the Chief Justice.
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh, me say constitutional process be na ekoso nti enkoso na enkosi na me no de intimate and discuss it because charge ya bono constitution say yemfa ntudwa. Nti yemfa ntudwa me metra speculate. The minimum yɛtwerɛ constitution no yɛde hyɛ mu ɛna ɛno ɛyɛ adwuma na yɛnyina yɛhwɛ nti no yɛhwɛ baabi adeɛ
cleansing ɛwɔ judiciary nim no yɛade a moba aba mu yi mudi ho nkɔmmɔ sɛ national chairman ne president ne cabinet mu hyia mudi ho nkɔmmɔ
ɛha yɛ kwan ho
so speaker no jeje speaker no jeje
me say I kwan ho enti no ma systems no institution bia wo means ya fa so self cleansing what you say
yes
enti moma institutions no nye self cleansing
yeah
na yehu ba bia suicide at the body hono befa
Chairman, yanko MMDC's issues, and I think that is the main, saying boba. I have found a more draw with MMDC's. So I have found a more draw. And what you Marcus say?
Yo, me that's it. Me just say since 92 and any first time ye this for. Na President Mahama nso waba pen aya EDC for
yeah
and wasan ko no wasan ba enti ono so ale ni lessons e wo kwan ya fa so ye and waka say ebe ni pese we be last time president be nominate EDC for obe pese as part of the constitutional review no ye be introduce some form of election of DCs. The nature of that election is yet to be properly defined. ABC Yemu, ABC Enya selected people and but whatever be the case, and until we know with the experiences here, Yenya as a party and as government ya badano. Yeah, say Yemo Modia say a bit me as smooth as possible.
Okay.
And until president ne offering a minister for local government. And omojene ho. Until etiwana omobo yedin say bason kubi. Womuna aban no president na hwemu ayi womo say ye decide dwumadi no hye womo nsa ojidi say ebetimi akoye enti yene a homobobo yedin no obia odi enti a ede no beka saako no 7 members no ba ko ye yenuamba Valerie Sawyer
yeah
very knowledgeable, hard-working,
experience,
strict person. I can say red, black, black.
Oh, yes.
Ntimi bendino. And we Kantinka Collins Dauda.
Yeah.
And also, as at now, the longest serving member of Parliament here was a year minister for local government. And now the no car. And Obaya Neoye MP for gender. Or no so I DC da I Crow MP Namomo.
Okay.
I DC da Abeye Nalag General Secretary. National Association for Local Government. I'm so General Secretary into no so name decentralization no.
Yeah.
If you through ABC and what they know. I can't. And now we Council of State member back on also long serving member of Parliament as I say wakona home game Honorable Cletus Avoka.
Oh, okay.
On the also I can't. And now Obogramu Parliament na Okokoyi Honorable Bejira.
Oh, okay.
And also very experienced, long serving person. And also Griffith Parliament as of we Parliament as of we you. Also Becca home. And now pay so. When so many general secretary there, some money me that. Now the account. In this akuno, and you qua obitimi influence your money. And you qua obitimi bully and money.
Send the pants when you are Pamacasa, yes, yeah. Oh, come here, no. Inti, in Tiasian, yes, yeah, you must say. As I say, ye, I don't know. Na ehun ye krojen because personal interest your appointments in Sanemaya temptation for pet to yield to personal interest nominating manema way the nipa way say no very high enti esinkete say ebebo modern ya adwuma no ama ehun ate na ehun tia eno be ma emfaso more than say ebekọ akọtena ho aka say me nipa nifa no hye ha we nipa nifa no hye ha we nipa nifa no hye ha si etimi eka yesinsi so ne ye no ye a emfaso ebe free mu aba no ebe impacting more positively on President Mahama mamuo no than say ye kọtena say apanda to amanfo personal interest. Okay.
Na unim se obi obese waye no ono na yede no kohwe ensan so
ono se ye no
ono na be se ye no uja no a obekọ akobro na wa ba be yede da se ye
no
na ode nsan no hye ne nsa se eni una be hwe nsan no so obi a obeba be ubeyi nsan ma no bi a record ne ade ontimi no nsan no bi
nani da ho
Inti say edi no ba Jobo ebi beba ebe free from ho constituency we empene we region we empene we inti no fifi ma entwe lete ni emfa nkonkoma efom hofo no se obia ope MMDC nu bia de okari ni ho a osusu se odi bia ye bia no yensi no kwai obia ntwere application emfamra Onua constituency ho na yanyi ni nyina mfama region for
mu bie mu se obia
opebia ntwere
so mo anka se constituency executives
dabi obia ye bie musa
okay
se obia ukari ho wese obetimi ayi adwuma no bia application fabra
okay
ena omotwere Over records, a big 10, a big 15.
Wow.
Highest number here, 24. This
one district.
Nipa 24. Obi a PDC. And now, you can say, region 4, most na muhe achiri mai. Enti momompe basonfo kuo na montranse. Na monsono so. Na nka miensa pe.
Okay.
Na monfamre.
Okay.
Miensa na mundi beba no. Na masan ase se de ebe yinu bia ye ne mu na yinu. Enti enyinu nwie ma obi nkoja ba bi nka se unimu oka ho. Enti mo a monhwe na monhwe nipa miensa e fata.
Na monfo momra
From list ya. Na monfa momra.
So, sa interactions no so amono omunyan no. Mo amma omo ayise chinchina aye constituency executives miensa na omo mfamra.
Dabi.
I see.
Dabi.
I see.
Na the woman say region 4 no eye interviews no. Said they make obia ya na temptation, human temptation wo ho. One say woman e walk ground ho no. Say obi pe regional chairman BRD in future now a regional chairman and a regional executive member. No be pese emfia na ye beba no. Obese agina bi mu a ya na temptation wo ho say ene mempe nipa eduru ha wo mbebo am mama ye campaign no wini.
Obi ade na mo kodwa so.
Enu ntinu yesu ye nim say sa temptation no ho ene edi ma wo mu. Na ye nim kwan a ye be fa so a say womu yield to sa temptation na kwaye be fa so a womu to be twin so ewo ho nti ya nka nkyere womu
Jira uru say bi dum to make
get bia na say temptation there nyo bia de tumi jira no enti ebi betia sikrom aka say wo una mfie du bia 5 years ago ye campaign una koye say no ha wo de be hwe kwaya be fa so akodi this senior yeso ya edi na ye he wo enti wo mu ye ya select 3 no buy no any information kwa say wa ya bo buga yi wa free no for petition for appeal bra. So, let's just say obi de oho time bi ana bibibi ayi wa free mu for petition bra. Enti ya de na otwe miensa. Ejiji sa petitions nu nyina. Enti ya kan petition no. Na se hunu se enyina so mu a ya free region for no se momra e bi de petition aba.
Okay.
Na aba den na asumasi yamfana nka ho ebi krasi okoho ya misano question oduru ha si o ode enimu dada ya misano question say ya fail no nomna de adenti enya botre trans hwe sa na emanu nso nyina mu na ye hwe na se nipa no na se mo a oka no nyina so a yenkoyi mo de miensa na mo de aba no yenkoyi bi mfiri mu se ono mmehye nanan mu ye sa na che se ye mpanimfo a wo region ho mo kra ya gumani mase enti mo de no nka ho but se bi mienu ana miensa bia ya appeal na wo mo appeal no ye bisa mo anu ye no nto asumu a ye de won beka mo de no na ye 5 enti some of the districts no interviews no e bi ye 5 bi ye 4 bi kra ye 7 o de na wo de abase ususu se wafa kwan papa so ayi wo mo
no
yate enka ho but appeal a wenum so aye se wasisi wo mo no abrewa beka no kure ye mfa wo mo nka wo de miensa no ho na ye nye wo mu nyina interview
general ya no na
di ebe mu papa e wo mu
ya no na di asem no ko ba se oh ye di nipa 3
miensa na ba na ba ko ya mfa na region for no every wo mo because ya ka je mu say mo ye mo interview no a ye beba abepe evidence enti mo keep records.
Okay.
Enunti obi de petitions free region no mu ba na free regional executive for no abetan yenim. Mo chire mu de enti a obi free mu na anto asomu a ese mo nkofa mo interview records no mra na yenim nyina nhwem. So enti ehwem na se bia mo de file no enya yen ka se miensa mo de o mo aba na yeyi o mo afiri mu akogu manim ase na mom de
two or three am
de appeal by no mo fa o kan ho de yem kan wo mo mfra na enya interview.
But general money regional for now communicate way to Ghana for Ghana for because time almost as you know. Me say menya kwanya constituencies be ye aduonu. Eye omo frɛ kwabra also me nipa me no bi afrɛ kyire akosem asantima mponse na mintimi na kumawu the same e general na mo communicate way to amanfo ama entiase anya adwuma say sebe ye nkwaya say obi abu obi komu ntino so obi de eye petition aba na se muhwem na se hia se mo de ne beka enkrofo no a mo frɛ
oh say ni kanenne enti na mabaha me kan
anyway ni kanenne
eno
afa na aduru ho
say ya wie bibia chichira no de akoma president ni kanenne
okay
because say o sheba kumuna ebasa na wasan wakojina bontin na announce a say nipa 24 no a omo ko interview no nya obi abesan ba say san be ye omo interview.
I see
so enti Onua otisi say bibi ha no ono na de appeal aba
okay
ani ahwemo hu say na appeal no e wonyina so ani e de na ka ho so enti ye sa na manu nyina no be hu say eto da bia region for no bi kura abonyo bi say yaye no sa ba yesu ye ka say ade no ye signatures bata ho ene amabobbo yedin nyina obia so wodin a ese o protect
yeah
nti ye ade a ese ye no ye nti say wo say we ya feli na ese okay ma ommeka ho ye nyu de no mfirimu ma ommeka ho ni ayensa nsonhwe ye so ni wo mu nyina hwe na se wa feli ampa se na wudi bem ba ye beso hwe na ente saade a na che se kwamoni so na mo pese mo faso ebobuga
okay
so enti ye sa appeals no nyina ene enya list ena ya mananso ho awo ye ne anso bibia ye be ye ne interviews a ye be nyina no esese ye so ye nyina so enu nti ye san ye ehwehwemu mienu bi ye de list no Emma top opinion pollster.
I see.
And now we call throughout the country. Every district, depending upon Nikesie, we interview between 6,000 to 8,000 inhabitants. Selected at
our grounds.
At random, yes. Enti satama eno koso no nyina no obi adwen na ho se bibi sei na ye de sade no kwakoye ebi e by telephone no ne ande ade nti omo select ebi a telephone numbers na
ena mo amoye mo conduct interviews no muntimi influence
ena omo so nya ndc fo omo ya de mu se ndc ni na ye na wadwene akọ se ya na se so enti omo so koye omo adwuma edibai adwuma no so ye so meticulous because a select sample na etimi hu bisa omo ye NDC for omo te district ho bisa omo ye MPP for omo ye other parties for ena omo mpese omo disclose omo party affiliation ena omo ye floating with omo nye
ademsa
partisan ebia ne candidate bia score.
Okay.
It was a poll num. Ne abema final so say acceptability levels no. Mo candidates miensa na se na no. We and now that's all. We touch me no. We touch miensa. So na also no ye de afidie bi so hye ho a eno so timi panipato because my home bisa say
very thorough work
bia wo why na ususu say oye DC wo ha nipa miensan why na ususu say oye DC a open so say na ba ku so say miensan nyina no umpe obia ka say someone else.
Okay.
Now say okay say someone else is why. They bisa say what you know. Why? Who is that someone else? In the interview nipa be say 8,000 with this city mo. Na majority ka say someone else. Ni ati yemudi na ebe say 70% is Bobbie ade na kire. Say na Bobbie na konwa no fata no na ya broskoto na to ba fi de akoma enti ya hunu sa ya fresa nipa no mane ba interview no bi.
I see.
Ya fresa nipa na about 15 districts in the country ni nyina someone else na top here.
Na some friend man be.
Na say friend man ba bi.
E niem se ba mo ho no onka ho.
Na say friend man ba. In best 10 cases, no, someone else no buy no top interview no. I just say if I boni for being a said I say omo
be in a frame.
So I don't know. And na eno achi no. Yes I am security force. And no almost so yeah the whole country. And I before. Almost so yeah the whole country. The same nipa three no. And unti say results no beba no. Baby wo ho na omo ne posters no. The results are the same in many cases. In terms of ranking no. A few cases the difference is abam. So and also that ho. And na ye be face to face interviews no.
Okay.
It yes we face-to-face interviews so I 700 or so candidates no nyina no. Ye report any we so quite fast rank wo. Enti we ha na che say yen so before I be face-to-face interview no. Ye wo input so a yes we take ebia me kan na traditional authorities ye wo ho wo mo wa adwenkyere bi na e de akan ye hu. Members of Parliament, also ye key opinion leaders, the various districts. I can't tell you say, a ma or monfa or moano, and could simu constituency ho. Because yenya mabubo di no, over Madame Valerie Nkwan enko parliament da ye na aka no nyina bia
ko parliament
dia say de munnam no ye ya bida akwara no de say pani no bi nye bida akwara de obi aye bi ansa na ho nyini eno nti no ye nim how ewom say ye choose DC temptation be ba so an say o manya ye MP de menya me DC a me no be ye adwuma ena madwuma mu be ye mre ehwo but one hwe ya and also no downfall because nipa 24 apply no akogina ho say we na mpe no say nipa no onya wanya danta wasenema
onwa maka no de
sa uyi ba ko say wanya 23 enemies from the beginning so enti at once na 23 fight na de o appointing so no ono so ba na wanya eno so ye problem na cha say de obenya bia no akwa we nkame na o block me no na sesi amanya ide me no di besi ani enti no the best way any say yen committee members no Yenina said the American, we back from 6, Yenina, your parliamentary experience. Approach any one of us. Now, my advice here, our ground, or assessment of Nipa Mensan. And now, you must who say, you now appointed MC and DC. A young committee no cry near appointed a foot near the Quacoma Mampani. Into Babe say, Mimi Nipani, I am Fanua Mimpenina the idea. Enye entienya ye twatwa adwena hwe de oba obeboa oman no aboa aban no aboa constituency mu hofo district no mu hofo na ebi aka party enunti no obeye chinchin se unkwa de udi DC ba ena eji se ukudi president ansa no watimi appoint DC the number.
But chairman, ebinum wo complaints. Eya omode base MPs ni bi influence eye process no.
Ya o ma sem nya misre. Say wonim bibia mu a utumbo utirim ka wasem. Say wonim
chama ya sho.
Me na me ka chem say wonim de akoso a. Wo be wadwen say on say election ebe baswa. See, D4 we are can we, D4 we are can we, D4 we are can we. Be crying Holy Spirit in us, man. No, but what to chachana betum, as a mena maye. Intino, obi bet me as in Nibuaka, se mena midi way DC, minfa way DC. Okona de all cano, a tomwa. Now creating impressions or none the number. But processing, yeah, no. Media, me canning na kokusia, ube who say. Me as chairman of the committee kurano mintimi mfa choice in DC. Mintimi mfa choice in.
Chairman, this is very difficult to understand.
I'm telling you because sir if we opinion posters.
Yes.
One more report, I have no way of influencing it. BNI 4 report, I have no way of influencing it. And now no party no so. Ya build it from grassroots. Obi apply no win master.
So chairman, me pacho, moya sure some the opinion polls no a data and a year juma.
E wo ho says ya. Enunti
so chairman, me pacho and maybe be one to ma. E bia because Musa dan kwane.
O de mami nkosi na oti process no nyina ase a.
Okay.
Opinion polls no. And also the way opinion polls no and the regional recommendations no and the yansu face-to-face interview no ni nyina e check ne ho.
Okay.
So
okay.
Enti yentimi nka say strictly opinion polls nko ande na de and yentimi nka say bia na report nko na de ye. South Asia. Enti eto da bia 4 different reports you know. Ube who say be miensa e coincide on nipa baako atop miensa no a. Eye clear says nipa no benya. Because yenso ye interview no eno nso ye final one. Enti say ye weaknesses kura timi influence bibia. Ebe influence just one quarter of the process. Yeah, intimate influence the security for the way no my so ultimately.
Yes.
And this say who say we nipa ni Asiedu Nketiah na fifi kwete na Valerie Soya obey bibia boawa. There is a limit to which the influence betimi akọ. Enunti no yenya for report and I am so face to face interview no be our interview no be be hunu say oba etete round table no ho different place obi anhu obi a max ya oma into room now betransia ya chiche interview no into segments say be a me test for leadership quality of sa person no na obi so test ni knowledge in local governance ebi so test the knowledge in party asem and manifesto yedi kwa kubu no or implementing the knowledge about it nti achiche no into those segments until ba obi amakin sheet dananim nti me bisa questions ya me max the other 6 no nyina obi aso be man max edru GS so afifi no so obisa ne questions ya ono so me amiti no so me assess the same candidate until at the end of the process no ubehunu say obia bema ne max
okay
yewia ne ajeje no marking sheet no so na ya tale enti ya tale a yebehunu say sa district we nipa miensa no we na top ye we na tosumienu we na tosumiensa na che say face to face interview no eno nso ne resource nie opinion polls no nso resource nie security for the no so resource nie recommendations every region by no ne resource nie. When you put this together the winner emerges.
Baby to say so which means mumfa opinion polls no kwa nya
100%. David na no say na o ya no say na say obi timi ekobra ibo wo mu a then e wa gu abai enti na o de ayi so bia na ifo nko aso de ya adwuma na say obi influence ada bia na ifo no o mu na abusuafo enti o so abusuafo e wo namfo ne ade enti so obi koye frakadam e wo mu a another check out of the other trainer no ebi be check up and down.
Chairman me pacho me and training yeah some confirmations and me di me kro masem baby to say asante mampon me hu friend say
kan ba bi fu asante mampon no enya na so yenti
yes but me
okay
trouble no me hu info analytics almost data minya bi the chairman was leading BNI report but more than the minim said they see the ma de kasakasa na banon so they started leaking the thing to them but the baby Asiedu so baby a obeka ho ye na akofa asanteman problem we nyina aba so some more 4 processes na say 2 favor obi na ni pakro no say 2 akada favor na mu akwakodu obi wa so mampon kumawu cases no are the same
bisa say na wo monka ho na wo monka ho wo monka ho e dey na wo mfiri mu Sentina because me kire ade no kokosi a wo bisa question wo se question wo bisa na no awon ni mu aye se mandika aka kire mo se mafia wom
beti ase
so enti ese ubo mafia babi so be pauto that we do everything where issue me kromu de ma e de ya bobo awie enti ma menka ho asem ka
okay
unim say brahafo
yes
says ya chemu miensa enti bono side ho o hwa kamene Sami Jamfi ne Ahmed minister no ne nipa kakra na mchama funum ne wo eho baby be 2 constituencies am person me body and no ya go through process no kwa kuduru baby eduru baby no I can't face to face interview. Dana interview no na ebia ba with one more they say petition. Say one more region aka say one more the petition ba on bet my interview no be. But we no make also ebe me pa.
Omako region.
Sana omeka che say Omako region.
Okay.
I'm say na region for some pese omumbe so animo ana omunso actually te say monfa omunka ho na omu aba
okay
nti ebe ye kakra ewo ho na me ka say nti mi wo mutra ho aye interview no wie na me frɛ wo mo say me kromfo ne mo mra na adwuma na me ye no kwan we ne fa so ye ya ma mo am region fo a mo se wo man hwɛ letter amamu yi wo mo na e ka say wo mo nya interview mfa nipa miensa mra wo mo nya interview mo hu say me betra mo bi wo mo na di miensa bae miensa ya wo mo de bae no so no wo mo de yen so ene ya gina so a process ama we no ma koye opinion pool so aba security force akoye aba e bia report miensa hu say wo akuta lete oka ho udinim ena ebre no ayede ma mo bosum na otwe miensa say petition mo mfa mra no manfa ma ya she date atra petitions no so akulosu ansana ye ba be start interviews into ko falete ba say oka ho na me amia cha mama ho kwai say wo free me krom ntime mfa ho ka ho a hwan krom ni na be ba meka chan say me manenka inti enya adwuma ana omokwa ene na adwuma nsa no de meti msem no bi pa
udi wojina
meti me na me say enya adwuma don't you see
yeah
ba bi wo ho ebi ba ne ka say em say techimai also omo buy that day no na there was some information be I say cross checking on something and they can say oh techimai eni sunyane was monsan koye tu asheda na yebe mamo another time na masan ba hey we mo nu techimai na information wo say Asiedu Nketiah say miensa na ya ba nu nyina on fa mabia na
oh
candidate bia ojina ya wanya no ono no de no beye MC ABC yanka kasa akwawe and ya ma be free ho by say di watem wo ho ya pese yesu ye ko radio so na ko fight back am say that be say obi gina misinformation so di atema nya ni solution ni say also be kwa argue with him when you know say the outcome will be known very soon or no na be fere intino me need time for sadia ansana time aye share omo no e ba e na ye be ye interview ni eselete nipa asiaselete ye nkrata no kire omo say sadia mu hwe sa former candidate oka ho onka ho e report aye nyina ni di nimba bia enti obi free haka se mo date amode interview bibi nti mo twinsan kakra na ye me mo nko kakra be san frame a e che se ni conclusion ni se the nti anya interview no che se ye kofa obi aba so those are things nti on say easy to misinform people than to inform people say the whole can say ukro mu mampon say obi anya we say ma mechire mu sesi a obey wadwen say ene ya sisi nipa no na odi akire it's not like that
so chairman which means processes no the momo no ye no emu odu chain bia info analytics betimi de edin abase wo mo call grounds we na but mo we interview don mo hu say we na ogina brane etimi basa
exactly in several cases enunum nyina ye guide ya mo guide ya mo ya take a decision
but enunum cannot be
enonya binding na yi say abasa antina chese no e guide ya because so bi ko akwa ye opinion polls okokuduru ho nipa no bisa wo When they popular, when they popular, na wachwechwe de aba. Say odi boni bi wase a. Sa popularity test no ntimi. Sa popularity test no ntimi na sa de no adi. What you say?
Yes.
Baby wo ho. I mean tell this to back also.
Boss mama.
Nipa on that top. Na oka sa ameswali animasa na friends Anas expose no bi wom I mean wa opinion polls akoye achese popular on the top no ye bibia we just say be na so sa din no Ghana ha nka president Mahama ba e bit matters
na Ghana akra no e do say sa everyone
so entino
yes o kan government sa
a bit because I know because the panel call ground wa a man for opinion no be sa wana mo peno enti there is some information ye betime on efa opinion polls into
onya okay
South Asia.
No.
And as you interview, no, take many other things into consideration, and you just by opinion polls keke. So, for instance, ubetimia ko baby. Na ebia population no ye be say 3, 4, 5 different sub tribes no me and the other. So, inti majority tribe no se uko take sample a wo mo be for mo majority in that sample and the better be image say consistently majority tribe for nipa na they be you know say oye popular but also political sense no bet me the atran who say nipa we num neti district no we no more from 92 be seen there a company near and the ade nyina akwafa into the quality of a democracy say how minorities are treated so into all those factors no ebamun kakran yes so yes sign war manifesto commitment say as far as possible nke betimi anya 30% of appointees state appointees to be female so what you say
yes
enti say why we ya udu baby abe say oba babidie but over oba no a waba no ne level now they compare ema no level na u pursue gender no too hard there now u sacrifice equality but where you go now unu say ebia oba a oka ho no oni mema no boso now you have to make a choice how the bema oba
no because you can see quality.
You can see quality.
And so a gender issue.
So what I say. Baby so oba no so cry better. But mema no bo power that level say. Ye de oba no ba. Ono ne de bema no nti. Ye mo buga ye mfa ne din ka ho. Enti no eba na se oba no freche be ye appeal. Na yes no he na indeed or you better than Bemano. Why not the Bemano? Even if it's equal to Bemano because of our gender commitment.
But Jenna, a bit never said baby who say MP and the Moyin free one electoral area. It me basa.
Yes.
Why?
The man it me basa and say. It be a yekan. Na on say geographical consideration and they told there be a ethnic consideration bam eto da bia other considerations but mtu ready city bia mu a ewo eno ne ni peculiarities ready city bi mu a see zone halfo bia badu zone say kwa zone nsoko zone bana zone or the baby zone so eno no sa zona stratification no yana it means stronger than ethnic so enunti no so we take a decision in that context ya now we look for balance ya we look for sa zone no for bia badufu adibi se kwafo na ni bi wenum adibi wenum na ni bi sene baby ebekwa akoto no say ye bunu new oye dagati new oye frafra new
say
in fact say over that area hona district no sa you know zona competition no na wo hono you are okay they won't complain na edru ba bi so edru ba bi so na eye ethnicity edru ba bi kura religion South Masia. Yeah. Ubedru baby no. Na yese nipa ya selete womo ede na omu nyina koye orthodox fo ana omu nyina koye amadia fo ana omu akoye sei enti amfa ho se womo ne no tifie ba kokora no na they are not considering location, they are considering religion, and now omu consider ethnicity. So a very very complex procedure yekom. Now, luckily, no, the end justifies the means. Yeah. And no, so far, but so far, baby, the abano any approval rate no me and the other no. I want to believe say to us so a bit me aka say this year process no abwa.
So now you have issues at Kumahu. Mampo and those areas no be any day.
Say a report to no beba. Because they appear to be jumping the gun. Yimu asema ya kwa appeal.
Debbie.
Report to Aba.
Am I?
Enti ade a wo gyina so a wo acte no de be na wo gyina so a wo acte.
Such areas no punitive measures be ewo emma omo jumping the gun say they wo kan no.
Oh, I say in politics no. Ade bi wo ho ya ye punish immediately. Ade bi wo ho a ye punish wo.
Ye jaw.
Bi wo ho a wo ya che say wa ade be che no ozi wo ye koja abufuo kwan.
Yakoja ko ya wi.
Yakoja ko ya wi. Nim say
yakoja abufuo kwan.
Every by yeah primaries. Yeah. And Papa na me no dey fine. No just so. And no call primaries. And no lusu ye. O lusu ye o NDC or NDC smoke. No yi no dia two from no tietia so. Party fond, party tantai, me party we ma frimo, me come home bien ade. Na, ya kan wa mo bebo ma ne oh, madam for asumasi. Na friend jam bibi. Madam for jam bibi o se wa giant this you. Dey ben dey say ni see. Na am so okay wa ja o nya ura campaign munti eni huntam. Ya ko any winning that election. And President President Mills at this DC interview see sa na omodimi eshemu afi etiwa jambi na waba ni fale sheni moto ano betrance na msia na jambi oba dewa okay
party so your party di
oda so your party o say na me uni me adwoso secretary na my yes na okay say mo call primaries ya ye de election owuro uti owai usmo
Batakari.
esi from tete aso party from party tantai o say yena jama ulusu election da wo ana so election there mean lusu bi da sensia we starting politics lusu bi da anu I say central na wa lusu election na jira hona hit bi abua for trim na dia ba bi awo kra no intijena anya mi o mo na so ye na hit bi abua for me na mani so nyira ye tum nyade ntina ahuhuro de me na mi yismo kono na me di huhu me ho na free toy no say ya seresa
na okoro do oti aso
okoro no by mistake okoti aso na ndi si de meda jai nya ye kura si entino se bibi hwere wa ye wo momentary ayibi
reactions
grieving process bi enti obekom ansana wasettle enti nya bibibia na edi akire me panish we me but a persist here a drew point bia am say mra no be fa ne kwa so
Jera ye born tofa on MMDCC mude ni nyina akosi amobede adum choka because baby ni ebu party office na ye saying konwa na ye say yenim say in the coming days bubenya very chaotic situation measures be na modi egu akwa to solve
chaotic situation bi ama baby a first phase announcement no buy no omo ebi ti say baby omo ekoi she na ma bi o party office unim say approve awie omo nyina bo mu jubilate
se bia nipa na omo pa ebi nipa omo pa no na mode na
David ye na so ya o si we ya mode na ba ya mpene so na omo akobubu ne masa no omo asan koto aba ma nipa no 100%. So
obisi kaswa say na omo say send na wo kano se bia MP no ye Christian a say bia DCU say MC no so a Muslim kaswa Christian to Christian
ana make say enye bibibia enye one size fit all.
Okay, bebo etimi dane
bio ha etimi dane na other factors are more important. Ebi o ha sek kaswa ye now so ye inti himfo na yes adede no
yeah
that I say now so ye himfo na yes adede sa na mai obi timi di information bi kotumu kra ma okoye na ma bi sai wo ebi a okura na ebebo din o na ya de misinformation bi aba ya yi wa film na supporters ya sorry kiki ese ne ma say na so ya crank ya mistake when you din film na mfafo from
I see.
Yes, it's possible because you ya play any role in sa ne ma nyina no nipa ba ko pe ene wotumi so appointing and then the President Mahama report to aya nyina opa obeka say ni nyina kwajo ni nyina ye nso memfa de to nche ya obetumi afre obi abonidi enti this argument say me ensan ne ba na we di nim na we ayese obetumi aka say de mu ye nu nyina mo ntram ba bi appointing we ono na edisi eno na mra no kire say onya bodin ha eno na tumi no okay say a previous government in 2012 so me
the previous administration
there be President President Mahama's first time
yeah.
And also me play a role kakra wo udim say kwajobo nso wa ma interview ba bia
kwajobo nso
kuma si me
yeah
wa ma ye committee na nimba bia president set committee no an obo ni di say o kan chere say o no kan interview no
Really?
They are kind of their mamma Samon Mumra. Mumra Biaso. So, and to a man, hey, we are now, can say, okay, Mamma Queen, I'm quite a baby, me appointing way I know. I say, be a nature.
Live on a crowd 100.5 citizen show, make our man for 7 NDC national chairman. And I was say a year to come issues about a year 99 days of President Mahama in office and MMDC's nomination issues and so yeah didn't come but I answer na General Bekono General Mamim Busao on man from where you were munina from a young ministers and they call a few deputies a bini deputies about pem a year MMDC's so muyi we are after the mobile kick off na mo say mo de afidie no asikwa mu amoko but adeba kwa manfo adwene ho sisia for NDC is that say senka ya ade bia JM eko 8 years ya enka mo badwene sa de no 8 years but right now mo be kwa yi eye branch na mo akwa constituency na mo akwa eye regional na mo akwa national mu wia enka senka mo 8 years a senka de openi oteso no 8 years a kan ba home so kenya fe na flag bearer asem ebe ye mo adwendwene but this time he say e hono so mu firo so how are you going to do this
from 92 and fear flag bearer whether we have a sitting president or we don't have a sitting president ebia obiti akonwa so a see one day Kocaine Ansah no Fimfima Case Yadiasa. One of a coffee for one Casacra. But one of a Casa Crucia was that. No Fimfim Yadiasa. Kocaine and Nimnakai.
Would you say Crucia was out of him for 30? But would be a cut.
Why over fast with the name of Obigina say, okay, wouldn't 5. No, I tell worry.
Oh my God.
And don't you know, say, you were sitting president, you need sitting president, you. Yeah, loss, no. This super pay satisfied. Ubaka say, Professor Mills, in 4 years, he beso as a sitting president. Yeah, no, couldn't do no acquire
Fonka games.
4 years. Until Sanya, Juma. Until 4 years in Nunya Swan. You better pass it through process, no? A year. Yeah, election.
Yeah, and among
but until a constitution, no crash, you must say, see, what sitting if we are in government, as a flag bearer, 12 months.
Okay.
To the election.
General elections.
Say opposition as a flag bearer 24 months before the election. That's the way your constitution.
Into more 12 months.
Yes. To the election.
Ooh. But more from a year. Pachu, okay, approach your man, son of feminine. And will be as any message said. Me here in my really so I don't feel I don't say I did not approach your man, so I go to check. Where I was, I don't feel yes. What's the guy? Anyway, so General, now, young folks, next year, I'm starting branches.
Yes.
And next year.
Yes.
And within next year, now I'm constituency and regional. Now,
national. They are national. And some are babe yet a flag bearer.
See, I'm here new candidate. Eddie Akwako face MPP Enham.
Oh, I didn't say what power. Now, me cry.
No power named for political commentators. GD say, a Juma dam when him no so. One, you look at the damage. A ya mo opponents na ye. A jam ho. A ya mo person mo cover all those tracks. And then me will see say in Krobiso Western region. What me at Galamsey community, I'm here over 10,000. So you are dealing with all these kind of issues. And son, what I know when you say or party no. And son, what pet flag bearer for.
And son, what pet quiet over fast go to ya a brobosia. A
brobosia. Yeah, I got your brother, I got Yayam Wedi. A brobosia. How are you guys going to manage this?
Master, me dear, me fenny may be more. Quiet fast way politics. Ye wo mmoa o man no yo niema bi wo ho a senka ye betimi asisam a kebeboa
ebi ni say
ba ko ne campaign samu ba ko so ne even sa DC samu ya ye koye ye we kan ho a 3 administrations ni nyina me kan ho ne select DCs eyi amanya free mu ne say ubetimi akọ na candidates ya ebeba for interview in a particular district no wo munye ntinka unya opportunity to get another person uko ba bi so a ebi anipa nan ananum wo top quality a beat me did this year.
Correct.
A beboa o mine. By say we back. Now mark out to Mugu. Never be a quality no so ye loan. Untimin fa we num bim ko hose nkonkoye. What does it tell you? In here say ye rethinking about why na President Rollins brebi abetwam no faso a year in district secretary. So,
yeah.
Otiwa, when she DC, no a boleni. Obi freedom hinkro, no ye on a ye DC wo boko. Ebi free ha no ye say, and no, a boa national cohesion, a boa nation building.
Okay.
And now here regional ministers and so a brabina said there. President Rollins or Danny near who call voter region say now one more best performing regional ministers ya one creating impact ya one more year list na ube who say Gilbert Idi
yes, I remember Gilbert Idi
who call Brahafwa one more be creating impact wo no can ne ko kapianum almost free different region. So all these
I didn't aside SSI.
It's a constitution no. Constitution no nature no. And the kwanya man for far so implement it. Some successive government far so implement it no. Ama the air no interviews we drew baby cry na uyamu shisho. Because first no na obia dwene Ghana. Basisiano, Okwa, Obia in a tribe.
Tribe, yeah.
It's a dangerous thing. And I says here, even within the tribe, no, almost doing a clans.
It's true.
Say, we nanya, a CBA, or non so, or no now, or no so, you can combine in Onya, and no concumba for the because oh, there become combine cry, or combine, comba. And now we didn't come and cry a war. Sakran, we cran. Where are we going?
Adriana near the
we had the way. So, accentuate this tribal feeling no. Young won't be in this our constitutional review, yeah. A bit higher in our nation building. Intiminya. Selected people based on merit. I feel they selected people based on families, clans, nema.
And Asantuma Ponkomo we needless. Needless.
So, and unti sadia no, you want to I say going forward, any constitutional review near the it me journey eno ho de to so biem kwanya ye fa so ye campaign any politics no enye mako because of a year na me ye Socialist International Vice President the mako many countries ni wo democracy kwanya mfa so ye ba bi wo ho a campaign na ye 3 months pe ubuswa ubenyasem example ya Denmark
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, the whole year.
Ntim Fordjour na yi. Yeah, the 3 months year campaign. Na 3 years 8 months. Aye space ya abayo otiso no. Obetimi anya ni peace of mind. E di aye na djuma.
Yeah, the whole year.
Say that before years ni na ye campaign. Nti da ba na ebe yo man no ye. Hwe de e koso ya. Sebi onka MPP de womo opposition womo NS womo unsa wom badwene ho se hwan ne be di MPP anim a ebeboa ya me akonya tumi na ye ne eti akonya so sa woni president Mahama na oti akonya so wonya ni 3 months no bia sori se ufiri ho amena medi we so si ufiri ho amena medi we so si ufiri ho amena medi. How can the person concentrate on a juma hedi amano no? Na mina medi. Say ya anwe na sa de no didi ni patim na president Mahama failure. Ye de flabera beche wo ompe. Obeto atwene.
There you now kokade.
Then obeka. So na de e koso no. Danger e wo mu ni say. Me hu post bi see Giloza me kura me din ba mu. Gilos Debra
Vice President
Vice President we anyway man we na be set competition too much dangerous for us. Unu say chief of staff na minister for nyina so
yes
na a number bi ka say minister bi or better than chief of staff or your boss no.
You what?
4 years in day anymore.
You what?
Then naturally.
You what? So the also. What?
So
sana woka dia mate.
Enti sana emanu ye dangerous. Obeka I say ebina na good evening Ghana my friends.
What done for Paul?
Christmas
Lotto forecast.
Oh, ebina I'm say 3 months or so into second term of Nana Dono. You lose to 2020 no. After about 3 months, yeah, no chance yeah. The next leadership, a bit me Mahama Asiedu Nketiah, Mahama Onua one pair, Mahama versus why Bagbin versus we Bagbin okay and no chance here. Yes, I did not and I'm who's a quite Obeka can eat yabo. Number 2 bomb bag pay.
The village.
There's a I did not cost about and this one more pay candidates no. Ever make us say Lotto focus village Lotto focus. I say any try Sadia no so. Any time nya enough time as we be as she say near because Sadia no echo so from beginner and can structure say yes she share and they prepare for your company and they are doing and come so.
And you Musa Dankwa you know when you
No. I feel say or no the Najuma no. But said they na esi ba ya ebe top party numa na man for a potential to create confusion for our government. So it's not about the accuracy or otherwise of Bibibia, but the potential to disrupt the government. Me use medium, he say. Obi a ope president here deal. The ope messenger deal. Ye nyina ye nhwe say ye faith ye tied to the success of President Mahama.
Simple.
Na ye de sa competition ni ne manema ebetomu a ensem bebre suspicions needless rivalries na de ade betimi abam eno so kura betimi aye motivation for corruption.
Yes. So be a person of fabi corporate.
Me so men copes can corporate en na muna scandal mienu bebomu a
Wa wie.
ya wie so nti o hwe mu odwene ho kwa akira you're very dangerous grounds wa ya hwe ya emwaye nti mesre mama President Mahama peace of mind na a chief of staff peace of mind no so nye na juma because all the suspicion betumu sa no bibi kura na say chief of staff will take a decision bia what time we ntina won say we say nti na wako ye we won say we ye nti ebe crepo bia obi antimi nya adwuma na government no ye ntimi nkoye ni
titam bia ma adwene mi hu o
mpasem o ye say you ni sa ne manema no nti mesre obi a Denmark de no nka ye constitutional review no kra na ye consider a form of the Denmark for ya nti eka 30 days to election no ade be chema ye bue no amanfo ekodeda vantage for one more period wow post medical those places because outside 3 months no ye ma obia campaign poster ube photo bia bia president ana prime minister na yi so anka ye to abawie ye ka parties posters ye wo man mu nyina da wo party ni wa ankoyi a local government fo be ye free ho ne a charge o setua won tua e be ba ne party.
That's right.
Ka by now you clean sa ne man nyina free ho ne nyina ye focus on the president we have ye man time no nya adwuma
General and they didn't come up papa and I think say Messi and you say maybe I damn retire free radio.
If you make ko na me the green letter bro anti menya
oh General oh General
Samu kan nyina yete
you've seen that you want to draw my attention to.
Anyway, General,
NPP
maybe
I think that this story it amazes me.
What is it about that story?
That's an MP Ntim Fordjour's arrest and NIB Buhaha. That is the MP who claims that some planes landed at the Kocaine International Airport and therefore jumped to conclusion that they must be carrying cocaine and so on because some cocaine too was arrested somewhere in the country. So he just links and said that those flights were carrying cocaine and was calling on government to do investigation. State agencies invite you to come and provide evidence and you refuse to come and think that parliamentary immunities protects you. I mean, it's been, first when it was starting, I considered it to be a joke, but the way it has gone and the way NPP has jumped into the fray and the actions they are taking suggesting that some way somehow if you are an a citizen or you are a member of parliament, you are above the laws of this country, and that our freedom of speech has it's not coming with responsibility for what you say. It's very, very interesting to me, to say the least.
But if you look at the mode of invitation, you have been a member of parliament before.
Yes.
What we do understand is that before, a member of parliament would be invited for any kind of questioning, Mr. Speaker would have to be written to. And in fact, the week preceding the story, 2 members of parliament were actually, made to meet officials of the NIB after writing to Mr. Speaker. What would have been so wrong if they went through that process to invite the Honorable Ntim Fordjour?
You see, people are trying to make one size fit all situation. The Constitution guarantees that when an MP is on his way to Parliament, or it's on his way out of Parliament, he should not be served with court processes, or by implication cannot be arrested, and so on and so forth. And that when you are on the floor of the House debating, you cannot be held responsible for whatever you say on the floor of the House. Those are guarantees, but they have their limits. The wording of the Constitution says when you are on the way to Parliament, you are out of or on your way outside Parliament. So, if Parliament is on recess, and clearly you are not on the way to Parliament, you cannot carry yourself to be above the laws of this country just because you have these parliamentary immunities. They don't apply. Citizens are citizens, whether they are members of parliament or they are not members of parliament. And in this particular case, everybody knows parliament is on recess.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the case?
That's the case.
And this, you couldn't prove to anybody that some committee was sitting and that is the reason he's rushing to and he's rushing to Parliament and so on. You claim they came to your house. Your house is, with all due respect, it's not a parliamentary sitting room. So tell me, if you are making allegations about drug trafficking, which is very, very serious issue, to carry yourself as an honorable member, you should be knocking the doors of the security services to give them information and force them to do their work. You should not be seen as somebody who is resisting invitation to go and tell them what you want. You have made an allegation. They say, come and help us to track down the criminals. Say, I'm not coming. You go and investigate and make the report public. I mean, security personnel are not magicians. They rely on information and follow up on information so that they can apprehend suspects. If you claim you have that information and you are keeping it to yourself and denying the security services the opportunity to get to the right people and arrest them, what do you think you are doing? You are acting against the interests of the state. So this issue about immunity from arrest and all, it doesn't come in at all. And the protocol that has been established between the Speaker and Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, are very, very clear that before those protocols, court processes were served on MPs anyhow. So the speaker was alarmed, and he engaged the leadership, the speaker, the chief justice, and they agreed that okay, if you are serving MPs court processes or inviting MPs for anything, Mondays you don't go to Parliament. So can you do it on Mondays? And they all agreed. Okay. So processes are set on Mondays. Why? Because you wouldn't know the day, the time the process will come, whether Parliament is on recess or it's not on recess. But these protocols do not cover periods when Parliament is on recess. Because everybody knows that Parliament is on recess. And this allegation that committees are meeting and so on and so on. Which committee does he belong to which was meeting? Was he on his way to Parliament?
Obviously not.
Was he on his way out of Parliament? What about those who came around, the NPP leadership that came around? Why wouldn't you, if it were an NDC person and this thing had happened to him, and we come around, he calls us and we come around, all that we have to do as responsible leadership is to carry him, follow him to the law enforcement agency's office wherever he's needed. My deputy was arrested some time ago, Kocaine. I did not resist the arrest. We were addressing a press conference and security people came in and tried to whisk him away. I said, no, why? Where do you want to take him? And they said they wanted him to answer some questions at the CID headquarters. I said, okay, let him be in my car. I'll drive together with you to the CID headquarters.
And they agreed.
They said, no, he cannot be in my car. I said, okay. From the International Press Center to the police headquarters, it's not far away. So I would like to walk with him. You can follow me with your cars or your weapons. Follow me. I'll walk with him and take him straight to the CID house. And that was what I did. Because you can't run away from law enforcement and hiding under a parliamentary duties. Because every member of parliament is a citizen in the first place. And the issue you are raising is not like a litigation between you and another person. It is something that affects everybody, including you who are interviewing me today. You know the implication of what he's doing. If he succeeded in branding Ghana as a drug trafficking hub, what it means is that every Ghanaian citizen traveling anywhere across borders becomes a suspect. And your life will not be as the same again. When you arrive at any border point, they will do some intensified screening, waste your time and so on, because somebody you have elected to lead you is making allegations and he's making it difficult for the law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of the allegations. And this hangs on the neck of every citizen of this country, painting the country black. You were elected to save the country. You are not elected to destroy the country. So it's a serious...
Could they have done this in a more, for want of a better word, in a more responsible manner? We are told that about 20 officers showed up at his house with a number of cars. Some had their faces covered and all of that. Mm-hmm. Do you think if they had gone about it, and I know you have a security background as well, do you think if they had gone to his house in a more measured manner, we wouldn't have even been discussing something like this?
Why are you deviating from the core issue of an MP making very damaging allegations about the country? And you are focusing on the methods of inviting him or arresting him. So where does the main issue find space? See, we are diverting attention from the core issue. The mode of arrest or invitation could be problematic, but the leadership of the party, are they saying that because the mode of invitation or arrest or attempted arrest was bad, so we should forget about the main issue? Or how are the leaders of that political party assisting this country to clean the mess that this member has created? Why are we diverting from the core issue and dealing with the peripheries? Why? If you are responsible leadership of a party, they have tried to arrest your person. There is a reason why they tried to arrest him. The mode of arrest is wrong. Condemn it. But beyond the condemnation, what are you contributing to the solution of the main problem itself? Why are we diverting attention from the main problem? The main problem is that you are called an honorable member and the nation expects you to be honest. The nation expects you to conduct yourself in ways that will not damage the reputation of Ghana. That is the main issue. It is not about your rights. Small, this, that, I should have been invited. They shouldn't have come. The number of police is this, the number of police is that. Well, if that is wrongful, the leadership could have taken the guy and made him available to the law enforcement agencies that this is the person. Let him answer the questions. But you cannot use the fact of whatever you call wrongful arrest and so on, and seems to suggest that so therefore he can say he will not cooperate with the security. So what happens to the damage he has caused to the nation? What happens to the statements he has made?
You find the MPP's attempts diversionary?
Completely diversionary. And I find it very irresponsible as a political party.
Anyway.
So they should, even it is not too late, today, they should find ways of making Reverend Ntim Fordjour or whatever accountable to his utterances, because that is what democracy is about. Freedom of speech is guaranteed, but it doesn't mean that you can say anything and get away with it. I think one of these dictators in East Africa said that, he can guarantee freedom of speech, but he cannot guarantee freedom after speech.
That must be Idi Amin, I think.
However crude it might be, freedom of speech is guaranteed, but your hand must end where my nose begins. So, freedom of speech comes with responsibility of what you say. So, if it goes to hurt a fellow citizen, there are remedies. He takes you to court for libel and other
and slander.
And slander. Okay. If it is against a state institution, the institutions must act. So you cannot just get out and say, because I'm an elected member of parliament, and then say anything. And when they say, come give the evidence for us to pursue it, you say, I won't come.
Chairman, maybe a final one on this one before we move on to other areas. What do you make of the call by the minority for a commission of inquiry on the same matter?
What type of commission of inquiry?
That's what they are calling for.
This is a simple thing that you can get the answer. Come tell us what you want. You think that Ghana has so much money that any irresponsible statement you make even if it doesn't make sense, we should spend money to establish commissions of inquiry. Do you know how much a commission of inquiry will cost? And with the mess they have created already, we should spend a little resources establishing commissions of inquiry when there is no basis. When there is a simple criminal matter, why would you and then the criminal investigative institutions can find the solutions? Why would you leave that one and go establishing commissions of inquiry? I've also heard about they calling for a bipartisan probe and so on. When there's a criminal matter where you have state agencies that can deal with it, why would you leave those ones and go establishing bipartisan committees? How many of the bipartisan committees established in this parliament have produced any results that has brought solutions? So, my advice to Reverend Ntim, he claims to be reverend. If you know what you have said has no basis, you don't have any evidence, well, as a reverend minister, you have a privilege that you were informed by the Holy Spirit or something. So, or you were
I'm not aware he said so.
I'm saying that no, that's a clear escape route. You see, that's a clear escape route. Oh, I was inspired by the Holy Spirit to say A, B, C, so it is not something that I can prove or something.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, they don't even say they are sorry. A lot of those who make prophecies, even when the prophecies don't come to pass, they don't say they are sorry. And it has happened in this country. And you have a title that can cover you. If you don't want to retract your words, you can just say that, well, it's a prophecy. So that's what I have said. And that one will not create the type of image that currently they want to create to hang on the neck of this country and every citizen of this country. So it affects all of us. And he can't continue calling himself honorable when you are acting in ways that you not cooperate with state institutions to unravel the mystery behind an allegation you have made.
Okay, fair point. Let's see how this story unfolds. It does appear in the last week. It's gone on the quiet. So we'll see how it unfolds. One of the main reasons why we asked for your August presence this morning was developments at the local level and the nomination of the various mayors, MMCs, DCs in all of these regions. Compared to the past, where there appeared to be a lot of brouhaha on who was named and who got the job, it does appear that your party has fairly managed this well this year. It's just been a few in one or two areas where I've heard of a bit of rancor here and there. You, I understand, has been in charge of the process. How have you managed it to a point where we are not hearing all of this rancor and sometimes like near fisticuffs sometimes? You're a local government man, I know.
I hope you are referring to your you means you as a group and not me as a group.
But you lead the group.
Oh, well, it is.
The chairman should get praise at some point.
It is a collective work.
So what have you done differently?
But let me say that we are not out of the woods yet. Some of the people, some of the nominees have been announced. There are still others yet to be announced.
Because they are still jostling.
So you don't declare victory in the middle of an election.
They are still chasing you around with CVs.
No. We finished the interviews, but the results of the interviews constitute advice to the president. So the president, the ball is in the president court now to act on the last batch of names that we have cleared and submitted to him. And I would say that in all this, whatever anybody does, it is the president that has the authority or power to take a decision.
So your work is done. Nobody should come to you.
Our work is done. We are left with only 3 special cases, 3 districts with special cases that we are dealing with. But 258 out of the 261 is done and sealed and submitted to the president.
What are these 3 areas and what are the issues?
Oh, there are issues that I don't think it is appropriate to talk about now. But the 3 districts are Tatali, Pandai, and Sawase. These are the 3. So we will get back to them after Easter and quickly finish with them. There are no major issues actually, but we can deal with them and finish with them. But 258 has been done to the best of our ability, and that's why I'm saying that when you are giving credit, the credit must go first to the president, because it is the president who exercises his wisdom in constituting such a committee. And if that committee does anything that is credit worthy, that credit must go to the president, because he could have established any other committee and the work may or may not have been different. So if you are a leader and you are able to identify the right people to assign them the right duties to do their work, it means you are a good leader. So to that extent, whatever we have done, if there is any credit due, must go to the president. But since we are human beings and we are fallible, if there is anything that did not go well, then it is the committee that takes that responsibility. But let me say that the limited success we have gotten, I'm choosing my words very well, limited success, because the last tranche will deal with the bigger regions. There is Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and Eastern region yet to be released. These are the 3 biggest regions, and the numbers are huge, and the competition is stiffer. Okay. Besides these 3 regions, all the other regions have been announced and the approval processes are going on and so on. But if you take these 3 regions, their numbers alone is getting close to about 6 of the regions that have been announced already. So we are not out of the woods yet. But I'm happy that you raised this question. It gives us opportunity to also explain our procedures, because in the absence of information, people speculate and they fill the vacuum with all sort of narratives which may not be true. But you didn't give me opportunity to even say good morning to your listeners.
Forgive me. I mean, no, in general. I mean, even with the way we started the conversation, you walked in and straight away there was an issue you saw there, and we had to just take it from there. So forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. I'm sure you listening would understand.
Good morning to listeners, and I'm happy to be back to Class FM. This is a place I don't frequent very often. It's a shame to me, because you are very friendly and if you like factual, media house.
Thank you.
I listen to you a lot.
Thank you.
It's a shame that I don't get opportunity to present myself here for interview. So this is a rare opportunity. I hope you are not going to stretch me.
When we need information from you, we'll come to you.
I'm not going to stretch me too far.
But generally, back on the issue we're discussing, the last time I had the local government here, this must be plus or minus about 2 weeks ago. He told us about the stringent plans the committee put in place to ensure that this was done. I mean, for the purpose of those who may have missed out on that conversation, if you could kindly run us through what exactly you did, because what we know is that you went through a litany of processes to arrive at 3, a shortlisted 3, which is passed on to the president, and the president chooses 1. If you could help us with that process again, for people who are not okay with what they are hearing and all of that.
I believe the president was deliberate in constituting the membership of the committee, because every member on the committee has, I believe, a reason why they have to be there. First of all, you have Honorable Cletus Avoka. He was once one of the longest serving members of parliament in this country, a very accomplished legal practitioner, and everything goes for him. You remember there was a time he was one of the 3 wise men.
That's right.
so and today he's a member of the Council of State. So he was elected as a member. You have Honorable Collins Dauda, currently the longest serving member of parliament in the Ghana's parliament.
The Methuselah of parliament.
And he doubles as a former minister for local government. So he's been on the executive, he's handled the ministry, and he knows the issues. And he's been a member of parliament. You know, this occasion of appointing or nominating DCs, one of the sources of conflict is always between, what the member of parliament wants and what party executives want and so on. So Honorable Collins Dauda was made a member of the committee. Honorable Valerie Sawyer, very distinguished lawyer and a governance practitioner, and everybody knows that he's like an iron lady. When something is white, it is white. When it is black for her. She cannot be bullied. And he has also a reputation to protect. Then you have Honorable Fifi Kwete, who is the General Secretary of our party. And everybody knows about our General Secretary and how strict he is. And then Honorable, a member or senior member of parliament, who I believe chairs the Volta Regional Caucus in parliament, Honorable Bejira, also a long-serving member.
He's, I think, about the 5th term member of parliament or so.
So he's also there. And then my good self.
That's a crack team.
So if you look at this team, it is very difficult to suggest that this team can be manipulated. And we all are very sensitive about our individual reputations and the reputation of the government led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. And we are also conscious that as a government, as a new government, if your base, that is the districts and constituencies, are disrupted, then you are sitting on shaky grounds. So we needed to put in every effort to ensure that we get it right. And our manifesto, it's in our manifesto that we will be moving towards some form of election of DCs. So this activity will be the last one, hopefully, before the constitutional amendments kick in. So if you do it shabbily, it becomes a record that will stand in your name for forever.
Right.
You understand? So we decided that let us devote our ultimate maximum attention to this work. So that was what we did. So we looked at areas which are likely to be the trouble spots after the announcement. And the trouble spots always emerge from the district itself. So how do we involve the district so that when the choice is made, it will be seen as a collective effort that arrived at that decision? And so if you are part of the decision, you cannot stand somewhere to complain. So my General Secretary issued a letter to all the constituencies, asking the constituencies to open the gate for anybody who believes that is capable and willing to become a district chief executive or to be considered for nomination should bring in an application. So there was no limit. Every and any party member who felt that
he was good enough or she was good enough
should put in an application.
That's why you had 40, 45,
so
33 in some areas.
I
saw one that had 41 people interested in the job, and I was like,
oh, okay.
That's going to be something else.
If you have all this, so we opened it for everybody to apply. So it's like everybody has been given a chance. No door has been shut for anybody. So if and everybody is aware that the seat is only one. So even if you are 100 and you all had the opportunity to stake your claim, and eventually one person gets nominated, you know, he must be the one whose name was generated out of a collective process. Then we asked the regions to do screening at their level. Previously, we were sending national people to join the regions and so on to do screening and so on. So this one we said, no, we are not going to put our hand in it. Everybody should take a certain stage of the process and hold themselves responsible for the outcomes of that process. So constituencies took applications, brought them to the region. The region did the screening and brought us 3 names each.
What were the parameters at the regional stage? What did they look out for?
Well, we gave them guidelines, but the guidelines were not that exhaustive. We suggested to them that we must be looking at equity, you know, in terms of geographical equity. They must be sensitive to ethnic considerations, ethnic composition of the regions and so on. They must be sensitive to the views of traditional authorities in the area. They must be sensitive to historical antecedents. You can find out that in a particular place, almost every time that is where the DC comes from, so what happens to the other side and so on. They must be sensitive to all this. And apart from that, we have a manifesto commitment. So manifesto commitments, they must also be sensitive to those ones. And then maybe in a few cases on the campaign trail, there may be areas where the president had made some firm commitment. So we must take all those things into consideration.
Firm commitment as in a particular person?
In a particular area where the DC may come from this time around and so on, you know. And so when you report, and if people want positions, they can even come to claim what the president has not said. But we say, well, whatever the case may be, just listen to all those and input them into the decision making. And, you know, we have a manifesto commitment towards gender and all those, you know, gender, youth, disability, many of these things. So they must be sensitive to all that. So after the region is done with the screening, they should submit the three names for us. So they did that and brought all the shortlisted applicants to us. But we're also conscious that the way our party is structured, there is always opportunity for, if you like, a temptation to pursue self-interest.
At the regional level, you mean?
At whatever level, even branches up to national. Because it is the constituencies where eventually you will have delegates and all that who will be engaged in electing regional executives, and from the same constituency you have delegates who participate in election of national executives and so on. So there is always some invitation to pander to your self-interest if you are put in charge of doing something like that. Because if you get DCs, if you are a regional chairman and you get DCs who you consider to be your people or favorable to you, then you may be thinking that, well, let me put them there so that in future when I want to retain my position as regional secretary or regional,
they can also help.
They can also help. You scratch my
back. I scratch
so
your back.
There is
as well.
that temptation. So we're conscious about that, and we put in measures to limit that temptation as much as possible. What did we do? After we have received the short list, we then opened some space for petitions to be submitted to us about the shortlisting that had happened at the regional
If anyone was not satisfied with the process.
If you are not satisfied with the process, you may apply for us to review the selection. So we did not make some huge announcement about that, because if you are not satisfied, you feel it, you try and pursue your right upwards. But if you just announce it, then it's like you are doing the race screening in Accra. Each one of the 40 or so candidates would think that, well, if there is this opportunity, I wasn't shortlisted, let me go for a second chance. And it will not be necessarily those who feel hurt. But in the party that we know, when people feel hurt, it has been our practice even in electing in internal party election. Wherever people feel hurt, they bring appeals. So we received those appeals and spent some time adjudicating on those appeals first. So when we receive an appeal from a region or set of appeals from a region, we invite the regional executives to come and sit with us, and then let us go through this together. In some extreme cases, we even call for the raw scores of the process that led to the selection of the three. Okay. But our approach was that if your region selects people for you, they are your representatives there. If they select people and you come to Accra and say that, well, we have gotten evidence that these other people were better qualified, so we are discarding what you have brought, it impacts on the image of your executives at the regional level.
Sure.
So what we said is that more inclusion is better than exclusion. So you have brought these three, but these petitions, we have evaluated them and found out that they are meritorious. So we are not going to take anybody from your three. We are adding this one or these two to it, so that instead of interviewing only three, our work becomes more difficult by interviewing 4 or 5.
So it wasn't a case of names being smuggled. There was a reason why you added a third reason. Or a fourth or a fifth person.
Yes. People who have appealed against their disqualification at the regional level. And when those names come, we don't do it as a committee exclusively. We invite the regions to justify why those names were dropped. And after they bring their justification, we evaluate it against the evidence that has been submitted by the appellants. And when the appeal is carried, then we add the name.
What about what we have been hearing in 1 or 2 instances where we are told that these were not people who were even disqualified? They were not even people who even applied for the positions or were not part of the process. The next thing they heard was that so and so person from their area has been added to the list. I don't know if a few of that got your attention.
If I get through the process, you will understand.
Sure.
So, and then in a particular region and in some difficult constituencies, which we consider to be difficult as far as NDC chances of winning is concerned, when we are going to elections, at times it becomes difficult for anybody to even accept to contest on your ticket. So what we do in Ashanti region is that if you accept to contest on our ticket in a place like Bantama, Manshia, where the likelihood of you winning is like a donkey going through the eye of a needle, you are not going to waste your resources, your time, your energy for nothing. After the election, if we win, we will consider you for appointments. So in Ashanti, unless a PC decides that he's not interested, we invited them to join. And when the short list came, there were places where the PCs were part of the short list. There were places where the PCs were not there at all. So we invited some of them to come on board. Again, when we got the short list and then the appellants and so on who have been cleared, their names added, we contracted 2 agencies, a polling company, to go and do opinion polls in all the districts.
That's a lot of work.
Yes. In all the districts. So, and the sample size was very significant, between 6,000 and 8,000 individuals interviewed in each of the districts. Okay. So out of their work, they were able to give us an idea as to who is more popular, and even they did a lot of segregation also down there. They are able to tell you among the NPP residents in that district, the persons liking in among the NPP, among the NDC, hardcore NDC, among other parties, and then those who are not prepared to disclose their party affiliation, and those who are clearly not partisan at all, they are ordinary citizens. So for each of the 3 candidates, we are able to know how they will fare. And there is an idea as to the likelihood of their being approved by the assembly. Okay. In some cases, it was through telephone. And so it took about 1 month or so, or 3 weeks or something. So they had a way of doing that work. And so, but knowing that there is a temptation to pursue self-interest at whatever level, since we are all human beings. So we, as part of the poll, we said that they should put in a questionnaire that will elicit, the right person, even if he's not among the short list. So there was a question as to, there was an answer which says none of this. If none of this, name who you think can be the DCE.
And they put some names there.
And interestingly, in about 10 or 15 districts, none of these scored highest. Some as high as 60% of the respondents. And then when they say, if none of this, who do you want?
And they put a name there.
And each of them, not knowing who is talking to who, they were not talking to each other, a name will emerge that enjoys about 60% of support in that constituency.
That is interesting.
So it tells you that clearly there's somebody who is most preferred by the citizens, but there is
somebody found a way to eliminate the person.
To eliminate that person. So when that thing happens, we invite the person to come and participate in the interviews.
I see.
And in about 10 cases, they emerge the best.
So clearly there were some underhand dealings somewhere.
So you know that this one, somebody wanted to pursue his personal interest but was exposed. Okay. So in some of the cases, that are the areas where people are complaining, but this man was not part of it because they know they have successfully silenced the person and sidelined him. But the system has brought him up. And he has come to top the interview. So we have to
add the person to the list.
His name, yes, add him, suggest his name to the president for consideration. You understand? So some of the complaints that are being made that some way, somehow, the committee itself went and selected people outside the list and so on and so on. This is the reason. It's a way of checkmating each other at whatever level. And our work too, we put in a system to checkmate ourselves as individuals too. So where maybe if it concerns your region and we know you are weak there, you may have some interest there. The other members of the committee will know how to deal with your case.
Okay.
So that is part of the work that we did, that generated. And some of the names that we discovered and added are among those that have been announced. And some of them scored 100%.
So you went through all this just to get a final fee.
Then apart from the opinion polls by the professional pollsters, we also engage the NIB, and they also did
a background check.
Okay. And also ranked the same nominees according to the likelihood of their acceptability and all that. So they also provided their report. And so we did not so by the time we were taking decisions, we had 4 reports. One, as I told you, the party structure itself had gone through the process and generated names and added, and so we also requested that at the regional level, give remarks justifying each of the candidates you put there. So it's like the region also recommending people.
So and so person.
So this person is like this. This is the reason we are putting this person there. This is the reason we are. So that's a full report available to us, and we have the pollsters report that is also available to us, and then we had the B&I report that is also available to us. So our work. So all these three, we committee members couldn't have influenced any of them.
Could there be a chance where all the three were reporting different things?
Yeah, there are cases where they report different things.
Wow.
So it means that one report will be checkmating the other report.
Kind of.
Yes. So that is a way of finding out as much as possible, as much as humanly possible, who the best nominee will be. So we took all these reports and said that, look, we are now going to conduct face-to-face interviews. These people have reported this way. These people have reported this. We have a third from the party, so 3 reports are there. Let us meet the human beings
yourselves
behind the reports ourselves. So if you have a way of influencing 1 or 2 of the reports, when you come to sit with us, we test you pound for pound, test your leadership ability, test whatever we think we must get from an MC or DC, you know. So our work, the face-to-face interview was the last phase of our work.
I like that one, pound for pound.
Yes, and that one too, we arranged the table. If you entered the interview room, each of the panel members was positioned in a place where you cannot see your colleagues' scores. 7 of us, and then the nominee, the applicant will be sitting there. Mm-hmm. So we took turns in interviewing them. Each was allotted a time. Each was allotted the area, the subject area where your questions would come from. So if, say for instance, as the chairman of the committee, I would have to test the leadership capacity of the person. My questions will have to deal with the leadership. Somebody will be testing about the work experience of the person, whatever executive position he may or may not have held before, which positions him to be an effective DCE compared to the city or district he's going to manage. Okay, so somebody will test that one. Another person will test his knowledge in local governance. Another person will test him or her on our manifesto commitments, because they are the grassroots.
That's
who
right.
will be at the forefront of implementing our manifesto commitments. So we do all this, and whilst each panelist is asking their questions, each of us will be assessing and putting down marks. We have a score sheet where there are marks
based on your responses.
Yes,
we grade you.
There are marks for each segment. So we will all grade them, the 3 or 4 candidates or whatever number the case may be. Then after that, we collect all the marking sheets and then do the tally. So it is after the tally that even us as individuals are able to know who won. So if as a chairman, even if I have the weakness of influencing the process in favor of somebody, my capacity to do it is very limited. Because you alone, if everybody else scores the person low and you score the person 100%, it cannot change the average. You see. So that system also took care of our individual weaknesses as human beings. You see. So, and you cannot have a perfect system.
Sure.
When God created beings, He left the angels in heaven. They are perfect.
We are not.
They brought those of us
who are not
who are fallible. They brought us here. So you can't have human beings who are perfect. But the important thing is that, do you have people who want to do wrong things knowingly, or who do their best, except that their best is not perfect? And that is what some of us try to do. That we don't do wrong things knowingly. Okay. And we try to suppress our own personal interests in favor of the group interests. But it is not all human beings who are like that. It's like, even when it comes to election and somebody campaign against him or her, then he becomes the permanent enemy for life. So you have campaigned against me before. Now that I find myself in this position,
I'll show you where power lies.
I have to show you where power lies. That is where we put in these systems that will check such conduct, so that we can get the best material for the job. And we are of the opinion that one of the qualities of leadership is your ability to select the right persons for the right jobs. Putting round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes. If as a leader you are able to get that right, then your chances of succeeding will be high. Okay. But if you follow other considerations, and then knowing that somebody is the best material for a particular position, but because he or she may not like you, so let's put him somewhere and put somebody, quote unquote, you call my person there. That your person, so-called your person, will cause your downfall. Because he is there not to perform the work you've assigned him, but he is there to just do your bidding. So after, if it is voting that you want the person to vote for you, after he has voted for you, it's completely useless in
the scheme of things.
The other things. So I always say that it would be better if I had any opportunity, and I have any opportunity to put people in places. I always maintain that even if I discover my worst enemy is the one who has the capacity to do the job for the group I'm inside to succeed, I'll put him there. Because if he does the job and the resources, it is you, the leader, who take the credit.
Sure.
Even though you may be offending even some of the people who claim to be your people, you may be, why was I not chosen above this man? Why was I not chosen above this man? But at the end of the day, if the work becomes successful and your leadership becomes successful, it benefits everybody, including your supporters. On the flip side, if you just focus on who my campaign manager was, who did this for me before, who campaigned for me, who campaigned against me, and you put people there on that basis and not on the basis of who can do the particular work. Everybody has an area where he or she can perform. So part of the leadership obligation is to try and discover each of your followers' talents and put them in areas where they can perform for the system to succeed. So that is the attitude the committee took. And we believe that so far we've gotten some limited success. And the success the credit should go to the president, because it is the president who identified us as a group to be able to do this work.
Honorable, let me ask you two very quick questions on that, and we'll take a break and come back to look at other issues. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that, for example, when you interview the final 3 or final 4, the one who came first could be overlooked by the president?
It is not just a possibility. That is the position of the law. Everything we are doing is advice.
Did that happen in some instances?
So far, I haven't seen any of that thing happen. So that is an expression of confidence by the president in our work.
Okay.
So far,
it's not happened.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, then the other side.
There are a few cases where the announcements have not been made yet. If the president is unsure of anything and he wants to check, and that is also good, there must be somebody who watches the watchman.
Sure.
So we should not carry ourselves as the final authority. So the president, after receiving our report, would have to also go and check whether our report was influenced by some other considerations and so on. So, and from where he sits also, he may have better information in certain cases than even us. But so far, I haven't seen
that has not happened.
And I think only about 2 cases or so.
Okay, but then there's another one.
That is not significant.
Okay, there's another one that interestingly happened in my area, for example. I'm from Asante Mampo. I'm sure you know our story.
How come that everybody here is from Asante Mampo?
Bobbie is from Mampo as well.
Yesterday, Bobbie Ansah is from Asante Mampo, and you are also from Asante Mampo.
I don't know how it happened, but we have found ourselves here.
Yes.
This clearly has to do with an issue you raised earlier on with respect to the considerations that had to be made at the regional level, which was on ethnic lines. I know Mampong very well, and I know a lot of communities very well because of a few things I do outside here. There are certain areas where a lot of the NDC votes.
You know something? Let me preempt your question.
Okay.
You are acting based on rumor. We haven't announced Ashanti region.
I know, but I'm just tying that
and
in
I
with
have
others.
seen media reports about people already demonstrating and attacking other people and so on. Completely needless. How can you be acting on a rumor? Or that is the new place where Honorable Ntim Fordjour has found himself.
So my people should discard the name going around that Mercy Jumo has gotten the job.
When there is a case in court which has not been ruled upon yet, you can't go and file appeal. And they are appealing against a case that has not been determined. You understand? So let them wait. If the Ashanti regional nominees are announced, it is there and then that anybody can talk. It is there and then that I will answer questions on that.
But for
now, I cannot be answering questions about a decision yet to be taken.
So they should hold their peace.
Announcement yes to be. Well, who should hold their peace?
the locals who may be pushing for candidate A or candidate B.
No, but they are free to push for their candidates. It's part of campaigning.
But how challenging is it for you, like in an area where your votes may, if you like, come from a certain ethnic group, and that person also happens to come from a region of a certain kind of tribe? Is that a difficult one for you to decide on?
No. As I have said, I've told you the number of considerations we take, and where the chips fall, we allow them to fall. Each of the considerations I have spoken about has a certain weight, but it is not as if you go there and say this is the sole consideration, so that is what rules the day. No, each of them have some weight in the final decision. But when the final decision is made, the final decision has taken care of all those concerns before a decision was arrived at. You understand? One area I haven't spoken to you about is the input of our honorable members of parliament. You know, whatever we are doing, we are also very conscious about the party and how its chances are improved in the various districts and constituencies. One of the things that create division that eventually lead to parties losing constituencies, it's always conflict between DCs and members of parliament. Okay. Whilst everybody wants to again pander to their selfish interests because we are human beings, we still think that we must not allow individuals to take decisions that may hurt the collective interest. So members of parliament are very important opinion leaders, and they have special knowledge in those constituencies. So you cannot be selecting DCs without consulting them. But the way you consult them must be such that you are all trying to discover where the common interest lies. If you let it appear that once you are a member of parliament, you must choose the DCE from the place, and then you are on the way to destroying the party. Or once you are the, constituency chairman or regional chairman, then you must choose the DCE. You are on the way to destroying the party. So we take all their interests into consideration. As I have explained to you, the interests of the region, the party structure from the ground to national, was catered for by giving them the responsibility of receiving applications and doing screening and all that to Accra. So there's a whole report that caters for the interests of the party structure. What we frowned against was the practice previously where members of parliament will go and enter the fray at the constituency level or regional level, dictating that this is the person I want to be this. If he's not choosing, I won't agree, and be fighting in some cases with the executives or with other people. We engaged them and made it known to them that, look, we are all interested in protecting the seats that you are occupying for NDC. But how to protect them, we may differ in the best ways of protecting them. But 6 out of 7 of our committee members are either sitting members of parliament or have been members of parliament before. I've been a member of parliament for 12 years, and General Secretary has done it for 8 years. Cletus Avoka has done it for...
Only Madame Valerie Sawyer has never been an MP.
All the others have done it before. Namumo Late, a sitting member of parliament, at a former general secretary of NALAG, National Association of Local Government, So we have all either been in parliament or before, or we are still in parliament. So each of us have lived the experiences that our honorable members are living through now. So, for instance, we suggested to them that in your constituency, if about 30 people or 20 people apply to be considered for nomination, and you go there and show your face, say that I am choosing this candidate, you have taken 1 out of 30. So you have 1 friend and 29 enemies. So you have planted the seed for your own destruction from the beginning. So rather, we cannot do without your opinions too, because you know the constituency very well. So come and meet this person and give him your brief about the constituency and your brief about the nominees that have come here, so that we can their backgrounds and so on, so we can take your views seriously. And you see that some of our honorable members came and gave very insightful information about the constituency and about those who were shortlisted. Others will come, and the brief they will give you is all amounts to self-preservation. This one may be better. Why don't you like him? But if you put him there, he will remove me in future. That one cannot. That one cannot be a good basis. Unless there is so much hostility that if you put that person there, none of them will have the opportunity to perform their respective functions. They will all leave everything and they will be fighting every day and so on. So we look at all those considerations, and at times we advise the honorable member of parliament, it's good that you haven't said this publicly, but we think that in your own interest it is better that such a person is done, so you must swallow your this thing for him also. But don't go there and be mentioning that this is my nominee. Some of them want to show power, that they are the ones who brought you. So they'll go and announce ahead of that, I'm going to make you this. I'm going to make you this. What are you doing? You are offending all the others who are potential MPs, and it will come to hurt you. So we take their views into consideration. There are many cases where their views may align to those who emerge eventually. For some of them, they should take it as maybe winning lotto. But they shouldn't go and create the impression that some way, somehow, they chose the DCs over and above the head of President John Dramani Mahama.
That's not the case.
That's not the case.
Okay.
Even if you like somebody and the process comes to conclude that the one you like is the best, we won't say that because you have mentioned him, so we should deny him the opportunity. We will go ahead and process it. But don't put it in your mind that it is because you spoke favorably for him or her, that is why he emerged. That is not the case.
Okay. Let me take some messages so that Honorable can take a break, and then we'll come back and address some other issues as well. Raymond, in the name of your area again. Okay. You say, Kwame, please ask Chairman when they are going to release the names for Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Eastern Region. The minister promised they were going to release the list last week. We're in another week. What is holding the release of the names? If you listen to Chairman, he's provided an answer to this one. Those are the one left, and for certain reasons, they've delayed a bit, but I'm sure the answers will be coming true. Abdul Rahman Mohammed says, please ask him what is the problem with the Asawase MCE choice. That is also in the Ashanti region. He's addressed that. Oreku Aroma, you say, good morning, Mr. Host. Please tell Chairman General, I enjoy listening to him. He's an institution. Okay. Albert Agbaka, you say, when will the various state-owned organizations board of directors be reconstituted? We'll get into those issues later. There's a lot of pressure on on Chairman. Everybody wants a position. We'll come to those areas. Christopher Nyama says, please kindly ask him of the 4 deputy ministers left. Oh, but he's not the one who appoints. And the ambassadors and high commissioners list. Oh. My Chairman is not the one who will do that. The president will do that. Christopher Nkumsa, you send us one. Abu Lansani Abanton, you say, General Mosquito, why did you order Chief of Staff to sack public sector workers who followed all the processes to get employed? How would he do that? Which power does he have? Okay, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I respect that. Good morning, Kwame. General, please, I would forever respect your thoughts, but permit me to suggest that the crimes, corruptions of the previous NPP governments, like Edubuahin's $7 million, the 1,000 plus missing ECG containers, NSS and the school feeding program must be investigated. Justice in Tema Community 1, you send this. Victor Rapture in Ho, you say, in fact, congratulations to the president for delivering his promises for the first 100 days. But be once more, it is only backwards looking and indisciplined people who will stand against the KMA boss. Okay, Halima Akumapa, you say, calling some of his colleagues who are also vying to become MC to threatening them in Medina. Please, that is where you should be given from. Okay, all right. Kwame, please ask the general when the election directors will be giving appointments. I'm not too sure he's in charge of appointments at that level. Kwame, tell general that they should be focused. The NPP are trying to set an agenda for them. Andrew Nasamankesi, you send us one. Anthony Niboy Town, you say, still waiting for the Okaikwe North constituency. Chairman should tell us who the nominants are. That is in Greater Accra. I'm sure he gave you an answer concerning Greater Accra as well. Please ask him if it is possible for the MP to say she cannot work with the one who was selected by the process. ASEC on my mind. Paul Nyako Mensah, PhD in Kaswa. I think he's responded to that as one as well. Good morning, Class FM. Simply ask the general that if in case the president gives him a ministerial position, whether he will turn down his chairmanship for the party. Okay, I would ask him. Good morning, class. Please ask chairman for me, how are they dealing with the killing of Alaji in Nyankpala? I ask this because this particular issue is bringing a lot of tension with the NDCU groups in Nyankpala. Zakaria, you send those one. Alaji Al-Hassan Sisi says Ghana would work again as the reset has started. Okay, Kwame, tell the general not to worry himself at all. We are all ears listening to him with rapt attention. Prosper in Dowinya. This one says, yesterday, General was on Accra 100.5. He tried explaining why some of the previous government's appointees are still in governments, but it wasn't satisfactory to me. I hope he comes again. And you say, why is the Auditor General and Accountant General still at post? Hey, it looks like you people have conferred a lot of powers on chairman that he doesn't have. That he doesn't have. Good morning, class. And chairman, honestly, Reverend Ntim is not above the law. Okay. General, let's focus on other issues away from the AMDCs and look at today is exactly 100 days since your party came into power. A few issues have come up in addition to the promises that you made. And this morning, we run through all the 26 promises. But there are some key ones. We can't discuss all 26 in the next 36 minutes. Galamsey. I am sure you follow the conversation. In fact, we had a day where a caller called and actually mentioned your name as someone involved in Galamsey. Yeah. Is your government struggling to deal with this, Minister? Are you struggling? Because it looks like it's getting worse. What is happening?
I have always maintained the position. But before then, let me talk about my name being mentioned.
That's Galamsey.
Right. I got a call some days back that there's a group of people who are doing illegal mining in Adansia Sokwa, and that anytime the task force is going there, they say, oh, this place is for General Mosquito.
Hey,
and
you
yes,
own the place.
That place is for me. The group who are working there are my group, so the law enforcement agencies should not come there. And they were firing weapons in the night and all that, destroying people's farms and so on. So the constituency chairman, and you see, Ghanaians at times, we just take information and swallow without verifying. So some way, somehow, people around that place began to believe it. Until my constituency chairman there called me. I said, General, there's something that is happening here in your name, which is scary. But I know you, I know how you are not in this type of thing. So he explained. I said, what? Is that true? Then he mentioned the community. Then I thanked him and called the regional minister. Are you aware that something like this? He said, I'm not aware. I said, call the constituency chairman. Go there and deal with the situation. Luckily, the regional minister did it and reported back to me that they've gone to crash that thing. And this is not the first time it is happening. Sometime in 2016 or so, in Wasakropong area there, they said there was a particular area there called General Mosquito Pit. So when President Mahama at that time had established a task force dealing with this Galamsey thing before it became big like this, some of the criminals found a way of protecting themselves because they know that the name General Mosquito is big, and then when you mention it, then the people, the soldiers or task force members get scared. But if you go and attack these people, there will be repercussions and so on. And poor me sitting in Accra here, how am I to know that there is some activity that my name has been linked to? But eventually, when I went to that region, I got wind of it. I reported to the security services.
So you have nothing to do with it?
No. I mean, if you show me gold now to differentiate gold from brass or something, if you don't tell me this is gold or this, I am not. So I am using this medium to tell everybody that if anybody is doing any illegal mining anywhere and claims it is me, they should go and deal with them.
You don't know them?
No. It has happened to me several times. Even there was a time where somehow, and each season and the type of activity they give to you. There was a time when President Otumfo was I think when President Otumfo initially left office, or when Atamils was in time. Then all of a sudden, people started saying that I own filling stations across the country, and
I heard that.
And I had 200 petrol tankers. You know how I dealt with some of these. There was a particular filling station in Sunyani which had been assigned to me, and they preach about it. NPP, they know how to do things. They spoke about it so much so that everybody came to believe it, including our own party people. And I didn't live in Sunyani, so I didn't have any notice about this. So how it came to my notice was that we had some party boy working in another filling station, and he doubles as a serial caller. And so the filling station manager sacked him, and he went and reported. To a senior person in the party, and pleaded with that senior person to call me to employ him in my filling station in Sudan. That was how I got to know. So that senior person
employ you at a filling station you don't own.
I know. So that senior person called me, General, this is a problem we have to solve. This our serial caller has just been sacked from this. So we are begging you, can you take him at your filling station? I say, which filling station? They say, this one near Ohene Jan's house. I say, I don't know who owns it. I have no idea. I say, as for Tunjani, everybody knows. So even me, you want to hide things from me. I say, I don't own any filling station. I don't deal with petrol or anything. I said, what? So that senior person was a female. So he told me about the rumors about me owning that particular filling stations and all that. So I said, okay. I did my own checks and found out that it was true. Somebody was using my name like that. We did our manifesto launch in Sunyani. I think it had 2015 or so. So the party people came from all over the country to participate. So I told the group that brought that came from Tamale with their buses. I told Azwaka that go to this particular filling station, go and fuel all the cars and tell them that. So don't tell them you didn't bring money, but fuel all the cars and tell them that the owner has asked you to come and fuel. So they went and did that. When the people they demanded money, say, oh, General Mosquito is the one who asked.
General Momoboka.
And you ask, oh, say me dinner, person, oh, Moka.
So after they filled, how did they pay?
They said they are not paying. The General Mosquito has asked, the filling station belongs to him. He has asked you them
but
to
you know it doesn't belong to you, so why did you ask them to go there?
But the owner knew it doesn't belong to me, and he was making this noise about me. So they filled in. When the people, the attendants, they even manhandled the attendants and drove off. So eventually, that owner had to emerge to now address the press that the filling station doesn't belong to Asiedu Nketiah. there are street ways of doing things. You remember my Kwasi Binti story?
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody built his house. I don't know where the house was. I didn't know anybody had built his house, and NPP people have conspired to name the house after me and all that. And it was all over that I have, within 3 months of our coming into power, I have built a house. And that house was the same design as my house in Oyarifa. So they took pictures of the two and put it on front page. I think Searchlight newspaper put it there. No, not Searchlight. Daily Guide. That the General Secretary of NDC has built 2-story buildings 5 months after coming into. That's why I sued them. And then the case dragged on, and I was awarded 1 million Ghana cedis. And
they paid.
That was where I was interviewed on radio that why am I not going to allow them? This is the media people, they can make mistakes. And so I said, this is deliberate. You go and sit somewhere and plan, concord things and put them on me to destroy my reputation just because you thought I was talking too much, I was criticizing your government. So I'll take that money and go and build a house very close to the one they claim belongs to me.
And then you put Kwasi Binti on
then
top.
Then I'll put Kwasi Binti. It's because of some fool that I've got in the house. Some idiot that I've got in the house in Kumasi. That's I intentionally gave that remark so that anytime we talk about things like that, you refer to Kwasi Binti's story. So there are millions and millions,
including the Galamsey one, and you are not involved.
Including Galamsey one. Even to tell you what, somebody appointed himself an agent of Asiedu Nketiah and went to some Chinese companies who were doing the Galamsey in Ashanti region, demanding monies, giving them bank accounts into which they should pay the money to. Then, when I got hint of it, I actually intercepted a payment slip. I reported to the
They were
CID.
collecting money for you, but you didn't know anything about it.
Yes, that is somebody's employment. He appoints himself as the agent of Asiedu Nketiah. Even now, I have stopped using Facebook because each time they clone this thing, you report, they close it, and then they come again. And so people will meet you somewhere. Oh, I've been chatting with you on Facebook. I say, have you sent any money to anybody? I'm not the one you have been chatting to.
I see.
Offering positions.
But
so I'm not even surprised that even this work we are doing, appointing this is, somebody can use my name to take money from.
Please help me with a bit of the role of government outside you. Do you think that your government is fighting this well?
Galamsey is a very difficult thing to fight. And when you are fighting some criminal activity like this, it is very, very difficult. It cannot be done just in 3 months, 4 months, or in some cases, if force has been applied in the past with limited success, then you should be thinking outside the box to see beyond the application of force. How do we tackle the root causes? When you get the root causes dealt with, you deal with it. But even before dealing with the root causes, the force may, in my view, the force may be applied in dealing with the bad effects that are threatening our livelihood. For instance, the most important bad effect, dangerous effect, is the pollution of our water bodies. So that is why I believe the minister is focusing attention on this alluvial mining. So we should, if there is any force to be applied, we can apply it in the alluvial side to clean the water bodies. But to get a solution, we would have to think outside the box. And I said this before the campaigning, and I keep on saying it, that if anybody says that the solution to Galamsey is just as we have it now, it's just using whatever force to go shooting and killing people, even if that is government's position, I will beg to differ as Asiedu Nketiah. Because we've been there before. Ask yourself, the cocaine menace that the Colombians have been fighting, at times with equipment, helicopters, military gear supplied by America and so on. How successful have they been? Illegal fishing that governments have been fighting. How successful has it been? And then there was a time during the early stages of the revolution where at that time the crime that was pervasive at that time was banker to banker lottery, and the government tried to crack down on banker to banker. A revolutionary government too, PNDC. You use soldiers, police, and so on, so on. The end result was that now the banker to banker was being staked at Bema camp among the soldiers and their wives. So who then will go
and fight the soldiers
to Bema camp to fight the soldiers? It became a problem until we sat down and said that how about changing our view of this thing? Instead of fighting it, how about shifting our focus to proper regulation and enforcement of those regulations? So then PNDC decided that, well, we are going to legalize banker to banker. But every person who wants to do banker to banker should go and register at a district assembly and pay a certain deposit. Then you will be licensed, and then you can do it properly under regulation. Within a short time, people came out, started registering, and when you register, you pay deposit, and because you have paid deposit, you yourself will report others who are doing it without paying deposit for the law enforcement agencies to deal with them. So that's how we approach banker to banker in those days. And I think that extraction of natural resources all over the world, they have the same traits, be it timber, fisheries, minerals, or whatever. They have the same traits. Your licensing, the countries that have succeeded have depended on strong regulation and monitoring, and moved to sustainable extraction of that natural resource for the benefit of their countries. Petroleum. If you look at countries that have petroleum and have weak regulations, some have become failed states. Go to Sudan, South Sudan, huge petroleum reserves. They are fighting and killing each other. So those who are coming, foreign interests, have a way of instigating conflict in areas where there is natural resource.
And then they take advantage of it.
And then they take advantage of it. The resources of DR Congo can take care of all the poverty in Africa. But go and see what DR Congo is.
That's a fact.
You understand? So we should be focusing on our regulations regime, how to regulate this sector.
And that will be safer.
That will be safer. Then we move to sustainable mining. So, and I'm happy if you look at the way President Mahama is approaching it, like the formation of the gold board and all that. We can move to a situation where government, we will come to a point where government will buy all the gold, and government will find means of supplying the equipment and training the people who will be engaged in artisanal mining. So at that stage, we can ban importation of those equipment unless it is government that is bringing it. That is the only way you can stop the foreigners who are funding what is happening now.
Okay.
The foreigners come, they are the financiers, they collude with local interests, some of whom may be politically connected. And then they go and buy the equipment, pre-finance the poor guys who don't have work to go and be digging. If we don't identify these ones and stop it, you are going to shoot and kill people there who are unemployed, and other people have come to exploit the resource in their area, and because they can't get their chop money, they have to go and labor for them, and the profit will not remain there. The profit goes elsewhere. And then government that has failed in instituting proper regulations and enforcing regulations, putting in systems for sustainable extraction of the mineral resource, we rather concentrate on shooting at people and killing our own people, shooting them and killing them. So I think that it can be done. It's difficult, but it can be done.
Okay.
But I'm looking at a situation where eventually government will take over equipping and financing of artisanal mining. If it is the government that is bringing the excavators, government that is training the people who are using the excavators, and then artisanal miner who has your concession or your community where it can be done, the excavator will go there and operate in such a way that it will limit this environmental disaster that we are facing. And after the extraction of the mineral, the reclamation of the land can be done at the cost of the person who
extracted the gold from the soil.
Exactly.
Okay,
that is what can help us. Botswana and other countries, they began having a lot of diamonds, and so immediate post-independent, in our area here, it was cocoa that we were focusing on. So they established commodity boards. Zambia established copper. We established a cocoa board and took control of the marketing of cocoa, regulated it so that we are able to extract super profits for national development. Why can't we do the same thing with gold? So that all the gold that is living or that is extracted from our soil, if government buys it, and because it is government that has pre-financed the extraction, then government can buy it at a discount. These foreigners who are buying it, they are buying it at huge discounts. And the profit will stay there. When they go and sell it, the profit remains outside. If government takes over and do it the way cocoa has been done, the way diamond extraction has been done elsewhere, the way oil has been done elsewhere, then we can cream the benefits, the way we are doing with cocoa.
Okay.
And we can have foreign exchange, strengthen our currency and all that. We are in a situation where we are living in what do you call it? Abundant water, and we are still
struggling. Okay. Let's focus on a few more other things, and then we'll bring this conversation to an end. A lot of the messages appear to be directed at issues concerning appointments and certain appointees of the previous administration being in office as well. Quickly, if you can address those concerns as well. Are you in charge of appointments in any way?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not in charge of appointments anyway, but
you can advise.
The president may seek my advice in one or two areas, and it takes.
So, have you advised him on the case of the Auditor General and why he's still opposed?
I have been assigned to do with this
MMDC's issues.
MMDC. So, the same time, some other people will be working in other areas. But I'm saying that removing people from office, if you are not careful, you can generate chaos. You understand? But certainly, wrong people will not be allowed to continue doing what they have been doing.
They would have to go.
They would have to go.
Okay. So let's see what happens in that regard as well. How would you rate your members of parliament in the last 3 months? You have a sizable number, but there are many who are complaining about how effective they are being in parliament.
To be honest with you, when I'm dealing with one engagement, I devote all my time to that engagement. For the past 2 months that we've been dealing with this difficult process of selecting NMDCs, I've not monitored Parliament well. But whatever it is, I'm somebody who believes that when you give somebody work to do, you must equip him with him or her with the necessary tools. When we have been in Parliament before, and anytime we go through elections, after elections, there is strong orientation. The Parliament itself will do orientation for all members of Parliament. But besides that one, we also do party orientation for our members of Parliament. That we have not found time to do yet. So if you have not, if you like train your people what to do, and you begin accusing them of doing the wrong thing, it will not be in good taste. I think that I've watched some of the case dates where there is challenges with quorum and other things. And it's like many of our MPs have just been thrown into Accra without us doing the orientation and helping them to deal with the teething problems of coming to Accra to do work and accommodation issues, how you manage the demands on you back home. Because trust me, after you come out of election, you have some debt overhang also in the constituency. And people will be calling you, when am I getting my payment? You have been, you are now in Parliament, and so on and so forth. So you need to help the young ones about how to manage these things. If they can manage, frustration alone can keep them out of Parliament, away from parliamentary duties and so on. And I think that the complaints that are coming, they are justifiable, but it is work in progress. I'm sure in the coming days we will have time to help them overcome some of these challenges.
Corruption was a major issue ahead of the election, and a lot of calls have been made, especially since you've come into power, of what they see is the slow pace of your government going after elements from the previous administration. What would you have to say to the base of your party who are saying you are not expediting action fast enough?
See, for a hungry man, God appears in the form of food. So what all the party people are demanding, they are justified in making those demands. Because anybody who knows about or who have come to appreciate the extent of damage Nana Akufo-Addo's government has done to this country, you wouldn't have patience to wait for solutions at all. You'll be thinking that this thing could be handled in a revolutionary manner, the way we did it during PNDC time. Unfortunately, we are working in a constitutional era, and processes must be followed. And all you want is to make sure that prosecution will be successful. So I sympathize with the Attorney General, but he's a very meticulous person.
Dr. Aina, you mean?
Dr. Aina. He's a very meticulous person. He thinks that let us take our time and deal with them. Crime has no expiry date. And some way, somehow, NPP has a funny way of emboldening their supporters to be teasing our people. You say we have chopped this money, nothing will happen to us. They can't do FOCO, they can't do this. So all these antics about coming around somebody who clearly have lied to the nation to prevent arrest and all this, it's all political gimmicks to embolden their support base. But I'm assuring our support base that President Mahama may be seen as going slowly, but he's a tough guy when he means to do things, he will do them. So let us wait and deal with them so that we can deal with them successfully. There are others who are occupying positions whose conduct is perceived by the support base as continuing to damage even the government that we are trying to run. Those ones must be identified quickly and dealt with. But
they mentioned two specific ones: the Minerals Commission and the Auditor General.
Well, I sympathize with our support base, and I'm with them. But I'm saying that the call to, move in and make one announcement that everybody should go home will bring the country to a halt. And that is the least thing that any government can afford. So let us deal with them one step at a time. We will get there. We are just getting to 4 months.
You mentioned things being done in a constitutional and democratic manner. There are still a lot of calls at the base of your party for the removal of two very, very, very influential people in this country, the EC boss and Madam Chief Justice, for whatever crimes they have committed. Do you have a position on this, on a personal level?
I have a general position, and my position is known in this country. It was known before we won elections.
Which is?
I have come to conclude that our state institutions, many of them have been compromised by the Akufo-Addo's government. So, after coming to power, one of the most difficult tasks we must handle, and if we don't succeed at that one, it will impact negatively on our chances of succeeding, is how to do this institutional cleansing, restructuring and resetting the state institutions, because democracy is about institutions that work. So if you leave institutions that are compromised, you can run a democracy.
Is the AC working for you? Is it working?
Is it a question you are now asking, or you have asked me?
I have been asking everyone.
And
so
you
I'm
know my answer. Why are you asking me? Why are you repeating it?
For you, it doesn't work. It needs a change.
Period. And the support base know my position about this thing. And I have spoken about our judicial system.
Madam Chief Justice,
not one person, please. There's a case in court being handled. I don't want to talk to one person. I'm saying that there's the need to reset the judicial system too. Because it's not me who is saying it. All the opinion polls that have come out have indicated that between 60-80% of Ghanaians don't have confidence in the judicial system. So it is not as if one person is saying it. How it is going to be handled, I leave that one to all of us as citizens. But I don't think that the state institutions as we have them now are all fit for purpose. There's the need to do something about them. People are talking about Auditor General. Why wouldn't they talk about Auditor General? When the previous Auditor General actually went to court and obtained a ruling that the Auditor General has the power to surcharge. And that is one of the most effective ways of protecting the purse. Because going to court and all that to retrieve monies and so on takes some donkey years. So you have a power to surcharge. What has happened to the power to surcharge under this current Auditor General? Nothing. And the impression has been created, unfortunately, that he was brought on board to prevent Domelevo from pursuing certain criminals. When he came, has he followed up on those ones?
Maybe give him some time.
Well, How long?
I don't know. Maybe you want to consider giving him some
You
time.
come and there is this case burning. This Crow and Associates matter over which Domlevo was removed. When he came, what has he done? The matter has been virtually disposed of. So those who have conducted themselves to create the impression that they were the puppets of Nana Akufo-Addo, our people have every right to demand their removal.
Including you.
My position was known before we won the election.
No, I'm going to leave.
So
I mean, for emphasis. So, for example, if there's a register, Auditor General, gone. Isi Boss, gone. Madam CJ, gone. That will be fine with you.
If you give me the authority, if you like confer that authority on me and give me pen and paper, and you see the outcome in 48 hours.
Okay, I've given you a pen and paper.
You don't have that authority.
I've given you the pen and paper.
You don't have that authority. I'm saying that you are moving on slippery grounds. There's a process going on about the removal of Chief Justice.
You'll be happy to see her gone.
So it has become sub judice. We cannot be debating it on radio.
That's fair.
You understand?
Because the case is in court.
Let's leave that one.
Let's leave it. Okay.
But my position about clearing the Electoral Commission top has not changed.
You remember when she declared the results and she said it is finished?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Were you waiting for her to say, I am gone?
That was what everybody expected. But
that did not happen.
Unfortunately, it did not get finished. So it has also suffered another recollection. That her statement has suffered a recollection because he said one thing and now he's acting in the opposite.
I see. If you don't mind, I'll take a few I'll take a few messages and I have one final one. One final one to ask you. One final one to ask you. Class, please ask the general when they are setting up the public tribunal. We don't have confidence in the current judicial system, Justice in Tema Community 1. Did he say that? Eben from Kobinya says, you yourself, Kwame, that the EC headed by Jane Mensah, would you want her to stay? Eben, I don't want your trouble
Eben,
this
you
morning.
are good.
What of the MD at the Ghana airport, Madame Ifree? Why is Madame Bobbie deputizing her? You heard the answer General gave. Good morning to you, Kwame, and the veteran politician. Carefully listening to him, and will do so on any day. But he said something about removing people, and if you're not careful, each time NPP comes to power, they remove former NDC appointees without being careful. Abibio in Maul Lashibi, you send us one. Again, Ghanaians understand that 2 terms of being in power for any political party. Ask him what they are going to do extra to break the jinx for 2028, and that is going to be the last thing I would be discussing with him. Good morning, Kwame. Good to see General Mosquito. My question to General is, during the past administration, they deliberately closed down NDC affiliate mouthpieces on air, example Radio Gold and Muncie. The only mouthpiece left was Class Media Group. Hey, who told you that we are all about NDC? We hit everywhere. Babs in Abile, you send us one. Good morning, Kwame, and warm greetings to General. Please kindly find out from General if you will contest the chairman position again. We will get there. That's our final conversation. Class, please tell Chairman to stop issues concerning Galamsey. You say they will see what happened in 2028. Francis, you send us one. Good morning, Kwame. Please let Chairman General know that the NDC would fall if Oral fails. I wish him and the party the best of luck. Star Bright in East Legon. Kwame was away from my phone, if not already addressed. Please ask Chairman General what role he has played in appointment so far. Well, he just spoke about that, Davi Sena. I'm sure you got a response. Good morning, class. Please, Chairman, do Ashaman have a mayor? The traders have occupied half of the street selling in the middle. Sailor in Ashaman has an MC. I'm sure the name will come out. The Greater Accra one is not out yet, so it should come out soon. I just don't know why. Okay, you say I'm not reading yours. I'm not reading. The messages are plenty. Forgive me, Kwame. I know you don't He said, you say chairman should whip them. When persuasion fails, force must be applied. They have been talking about this for years and they don't listen. Sending them to the police station is a waste of time. Okay, so you are referring to the Kumasi mayor case. Chairman, for them to stop fooling with your name in Galamsey matters, crash those people, arrest and get their machines banned. Please ask Chairman General that during parliamentary primaries, if you're camping for your favorites, is that proper? Kujo and Eric send this one. So there's an area that I'm going to be going to end our conversation.
Yes.
Party, how long you're going to stay in power and all of that. I know it's only 3 months into your new administration.
Sure.
But what you will do for the next 3 years and 9 months may or may not keep you in power.
Sure.
It's only 100 days. Are you satisfied with the trajectory of governance so far?
Yes.
Can it be better?
It can be better because I began by telling you that this earth is occupied by imperfect beings.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect ones are angels, they are in heaven. So any undertaking that a human being will engage in can still be performed better. You cannot be perfect. So I'm satisfied, but still there can be room for improvement because you have new appointees beginning to work. Even a qualified driver, if you are given a vehicle the kind of which you have not driven before, take a few days to perfect your hands at it. But our appointees so far have not done badly. So I believe that as in the coming days, as they gain more experiences and as they are mentored better, the future is bright for us.
The future in 2028 is not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Constitutionally, the president is barred from contesting. Mm-hmm. There's been talk that because you've presented the same candidate for the last 4 or 5 elections, it does not appear to be that clear who a likely successor of the party would be or may be. And in that line, your name has popped up. Have you heard that?
Yes, I've heard it.
Are you interested?
Why? I have been speaking against expressing interest for whatever form in these early days into our administration. It's a huge trap that if we are not careful, we will fall in and it will swallow all of us. Yesterday I was talking about some countries where campaigning is restricted to the last 3 months to election. And then the rest of the 4-year term or 5-year term is devoted to governing the country properly. And so after election, in Denmark, after election, there is a time frame, I think 1 week or so. Every political party must remove their billboards, their signage, everything. And so if there is anything portrait that is going to be shown anywhere, it must be the portrait of the president. And so the discussions will be around how to get things done properly, so we can come together and run the country. Unfortunately, as my grandfather once said, that anything we bring to Africa, which is done by the whites, when we bring it to Africa, we misapply it. You see? So we've taken this politics too far. How can anybody be campaigning
to replace a president who is less than 4 months in office, knowing very well that when you move into campaign mode, everything is done differently. We are now engaged in appointing people and so on. And they are churning out opinion polls about who will succeed, who will not succeed the president, who had the better chance, and so on. What are we doing? I'm not blaming the pollsters.